Some of the best athletes this area has ever produced has played in this game. It's Prep and it's McDowell, and no more needs to be said. Kickoff is coming up next.
From 35 WSEE, this is the Game of the Week.
Caldwell rolling that way, looking, throwing down the middle, has a man, he's got it! Up straight up the middle, touchdown for the Ramblers. His fullback position barreling at the 5. Touchdown Central. We are live from a rainy Gus Anderson Field at McDowell High School for our Game of the Week. And as always, it is a Game of the Week that is the pinnacle of the season as the McDowell Trojans take on the Ramblers of Cathedral Prep. I'm Gary Drapcho with Jim LaKorchik, and as you can see, less than ideal weather conditions to say the least. It rained here a year ago when this game went into double overtime time, Jim LaKorchik, and we've got some rain here tonight. First of all, obviously two different teams than a year ago. How does the weather affect advantage, disadvantage for the clubs involved?
I think McDowell will play their game better. They have bigger kids. I think they'll be straight ahead. And Brian Caldwell at quarterback, being as strong as he is and being a veteran, I think it favors McDowell. I really do.
Caldwell, the senior, the possible all-state prospect, yet to make a college choice, certainly a Division I possibility. The quarterback on the other side is Jim Gemler. He's going to get the start. He has learned this year. He's only a junior. I believe he was sick last week and didn't play. They've run into some bad luck with him. He was hurt for a while there. How is he going to handle this big game tonight in the rain, Jim? What do you think?
He's a solid athlete. A good athlete's a good athlete. He started in baseball on a team that won the Metro League as a sophomore. He played on a basketball team that went to the state championship. He's been around winners, Gary. He's been a winner all his life. I think Jim Gemler will perform admirably for the Ramblers. I really do. He's a solid kid.
Obviously, less than ideal weather conditions for our game tonight. We're going to go quickly to Evan Eldridge back in our weather center and take a look at the Doppler. Evan,
and this rain going to be something we'll be dealing with for much of the evening. A few breaks to the west, so maybe during the first quarter we'll see a bit of a break, and then another gap over Ashtabula County may mean a break sometime after halftime, but generally going to be rainy and wet. Right now the temperature stands at 48 degrees. Pressure has been falling and rising, so we've still got some showers out there. Factor in the wind. It feels like 37 degrees, going to be a cold and rainy night outside for this evening. Well, I'll take you back to Gus Anderson Field. Gentlemen?
Yeah, they were expecting a big crowd here on our Game of the Week tonight. Aren't going to quite get that, but we're glad you joined us. If you're cozy, warm, and safe inside, stay there. The Game of the Week is coming up next. We'll be back with more. Bill Flanagan's in the studio, too. He'll break down some of the key plays of this game in just a moment. Stay with us.
Friday's fun couple race to Italy.
Mi piace parlare con te.
But why are they running amok?
You stomp, I'll sneak.
To stamp out a deadly bug.
Every vineyard in Italy would be wiped out. Got it.
But will they release a plague?
Knock yourself out.
All new Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Then, Nash's ex, in love with a lady killer.
This guy's dangerous, man. Chicks dig that. Stay the hell away from him.
All new Nash Bridges. All CBS tonight.
Service and convenience. Nobody hammers at home like Value Home Centers during Super Value Days. Quality carpeting doesn't have to be expensive if you come to Value. Beautiful Inspirations carpet from Eastern House features a plush padded back and is protected with Scotchgard to prevent stains. Hammer down to just $5.99 a square yard. Or save on durable Wall Street with jute back. On sale just $3.99 a square yard. Always convenient. Value Home Centers, where we hammer the lowest advertised prices guaranteed.
A 3.5-liter V6, 214 horses, four-wheel independent touring suspension, an advanced electronic system, 16-inch wheels and tires, and the responsiveness of AutoStick. In case you're wondering just how well a Dodge Intrepid Sport handles, consider this your walkthrough. Dodge Intrepid. This changes everything. See your friendly Dodge dealer today and get up to $1,000 cash savings on Intrepid.
Morning number 3. Smoke free. Nice going Nicoderm CQ. Doing fine with no help, right? You want to cheat? No. Come on, just one. No. I hate how calm you are. That's the CQ.
Only Nicoderm CQ starts you off with the highest level of medicine. A 24-hour stream that's still with you when you wake up.
It helps calm the cravings. You'll see.
Nicoderm CQ. The power to calm, the power to comfort, the power to quit successfully.
Welcome back to our pregame show, everyone. I'm Bill Flanagan. You know, a lot of times we get to see the plays as they develop, but not really see what actually goes into making them work. So before tonight's big game between Prep at McDowell, we thought we'd bring in Rambler coach John Birchtold, who now joins us. And John, we're going to take a look at a couple plays tonight in terms of what you're going to be facing from McDowell, mainly on the run and mainly a tendency they like to use. Let's take a look at play number 1, where they're going to pull their tackle, Jeff Orn. Tell us a little bit about this play.
Well, this is an inside counter type of play. Notice that the fullback fills backside and blocks for the guard and tackle who are coming across. On this side of the line of scrimmage, they will be blocking down on the lineman, and then they're kicking out with their guard and tackle, and the tailback runs up the field.
Jeff Warren was the tackle on that play, sealed it perfectly, allowed the running back to get through and make the first down. That's something you're going to have to definitely concentrate on.
Yeah, I mean, their linemen are going to take you to the football, and it's going to be very important for us to recognize that and play that.
And if your people in the secondary are making tackles, that means the rest of the guys are not doing the job.
Yeah, if our secondary is making tackles, then we're not playing very well. Our linebackers need to read that, and if we do, then we're going to be there to make plays. If not, then hopefully our secondary is going to make the play. If not, it's going to be in the end zone.
McDowell also has a big offensive line, as you just saw just moments ago, but it also allows them to get into their passing game with Brian Caldwell. Our second example, as we take a look at that, will show that very thing as guard Stephen Reinke will pull. And again, Coach, it gives McDowell an opportunity with Brian Caldwell.
Yeah, it's off their counter action. Notice the back's going backside, and they get the two guards out in front of them. Right now he's hitting fullback out into the flat. You know, the play action has sucked up the backers, and you know, and the fullback's open here, and he delivers the ball right on the money, and it's a good play. Tough to defend. You know, and the quarterback gets outside contain, and then has the threat to run and pass, and now you really have problems.
Reinke shielded that play to allow Irvin to make the catch, and again, that's something you just don't want to have happen. Get him open in the flat.
And he's a big kid, that Reinke, and it's going to be tough to get around him. He gets out there, he's going to be able to seal us off, and you know, we're going to have to hold contain on it and try to keep Caldwell inside, and at least you know, once that quarterback breaks contain, then people want to come up and play the run, and then you're really in trouble with your pass defense.
And speaking of the run, again, as good as Brian Caldwell is in this McDowell offense, their bread and butter is running the football. Let's take another example, another look at this play. Again, they're going to have both the guard and the tackle pull here. It's called counter tray in the NFL, and they run it to perfection.
It's called counter tray here, too. Notice the guard and tackle. They're going to take you to the football. This is an old wing T player where they hand off to the halfback, and he hands off back inside to the wing. Now, if we end up falling backfield flow, then we're going to be out of position. We have to read that guard tackle. That'll take us to the ball.
Aaron Slocum went 44 yards on this play against Youngstown Ursuline, set up the only points in that football game. So again, it really begins and essentially ends with the offensive line on both sides for both teams. If they're doing their job, they're going to set up scoring plays.
Yeah, a play like that gets you to step. I mean, you have to honor that backfield flow going that way. And then if you don't read it quick enough, Slocum has the speed where he's going to be down the field on you, and then you have trouble. So, you know, as you're watching the game, if those misdirection plays are going big, then our backers aren't reading that, and that'll be the key to it. We have to be able to do that.
Anything else we can look for as far as what your defense has to do tonight to stop McDowell?
I think we want to stay away from the big play. You know, I've watched them, and they're so good on offense. They have so many people that they can attack you with. We just don't want to make it short drives and you know, score from long range. We want them to snap the ball as many times as they can, and then hopefully, you know, something's good is going to happen for us.
We shall see. Just trying to give you that extra edge tonight heading into this big football game. For John Birchtold, I'm Bill Flanagan. Our pregame show continues in just a moment.
Everyone wants a quiet place to get away. Here's one within driving distance. The new Camry. Thanks to a new level of sound-absorbing technology, including a special alloy in the steering wheel to reduce vibration, so the only thing you feel is good. The new Camry. Quieter, smoother, better than ever.
Patio Shop is now your wintertime store, too. See them for the Hearthside vent-free fireplace, fuel-efficient and styled to match a variety of home decors. Or the Empire Embers fireplace, which operates fully without electricity. Or convert your old wood-burning fireplace into a clean, cozy atmosphere with beautiful, realistic gas log inserts, available in vented or unvented models. And of course, the Patio Shop has all the accessories you'll need no matter what the season. The Patio Shop, not just your summertime store, now your store for all seasons.
Whoa, at the Giant Eagle Pharmacy, there's a wide selection. Come and see.
I've never seen so many kinds of shampoo. You better choose, huh?
Radical shade.
Groovy price.
Groovy? Mom, you're so retro. Here's one that won't upset your stomach, Mrs. Wilson.
Giant Eagle, so simple for you.
There are enough choices here to boggle my mind.
These low prices boggle my mind.
Hunting season is here, and it's time to bag your limit at Hallman's Edinburgh Ford's regional used truck headquarters. Set your sights to save on all trucks. Bag the 94 Toyota pickup, only $7,850. Aim high and save on a 94 Ranger 4x4, just $13,950. 93 Ford F-150 at $5,700. If you're on the hunt for a great deal, get to Hallman's Edinburgh Ford's regional used truck headquarters. Just a short drive from high prices.
Coverage of the Game of the Week is brought to you by Taco Bell. Cross the border.
Back here at Gus Anderson Field, a wet Gus Anderson Field. I'm Gary Drapcho with Jim LaCorchick as we get set for the opening kickoff. Take a look at some of the Metro stats and how these two teams compare, Jim LaCorchick. McDowell and Cathedral Prep. Yards rushing, yards passing, yards per game, and total points. A little bit favoring McDowell, of course.
Yeah, it looks like it heavily favors McDowell. A lot of balance, 343 yards a game, 28.6 points. When you combine that with a stingy defense, that's what really magnifies the statistics in favor of the Trojans, Gary.
Right, and here's the other opponent's sort of thing, where the yards rushing for Cathedral Prep, they've limited only 163 yards, only 18.9 points a game, but McDowell even stingier, giving up only 9 points per game.
Yeah, they're winning their games by a margin of 20 points a game. They're undefeated, and Prep's losing 3 points by 3 points a game. That's why they're 2-5.
All right, we're just about set for the opening kickoff. You see that Prep has won this game just once in the last 4 times they have played. They played twice last year, McDowell winning both of them, including the double overtime game at Gus Anderson Field. We'll be back. The toss of the coin, the opening kickoff coming up in just a moment. Stay with us.
What is it about Autoland that makes it different? Well, it's selection and savings, 500 in inventory, 200 of them under roof. Let me give you an example. Here's an 86 Oldsmobile Cutlass, $29.75. Or Ford buyers, here's a 90 model Ford Tempo, low price, $49.75. And truck buyers, there's something for you, an 88 F-150 at $49.75. Before you buy a used car anyplace, you owe it to yourself to come on out to Autoland, I-79 Route 20 West in Erie.
I will be the president who preserves and strengthens and protects Medicare. I was there, fighting the fight, voting against Medicare, 1 of 12, because we knew it wouldn't work.
Last year, Dole Gingrich tried to cut Medicare, $270 billion.
Give children a chance in life. Give them an education. We're going to eliminate the Department of Education. We don't need it in the first place. I didn't vote for it in 1979.
Dole tried to slash college scholarships.
Voting against Medicare.
Wrong in the past.
We're going to eliminate the Department of Education.
Wrong for our future.
The Sports Section. The nation's leader in youth sports photography. The Sports Section. Unique, creative, and collectible. The Sports Make Section. Your team season truly memorable. Call Scott Kuhn at 825-8344. The Sports Section.
New cars cost big bucks. If your car runs good, looks bad, get our Mako Supreme Plus deal. A great paint package at half price. Now only $249. Painting your car with Mako Supreme Plus at half price? That's America's smart choice.
Drastic markdowns now throughout Arthur F. Schultz's entire furniture inventory. The last stages of the incredible remodeling and expansion at Arthur's mean furniture and bedding savings of 30, 40, even 50% and more. And take advantage of other important savings. Arthur F. Schultz offers no down payment, monthly payments, or interest for a full year. This week, Arthur's offers dramatic reductions to make room for new shipments. Quality for less, award-winning customer service, free express delivery just east of I-79 Route 20 Erie. Arthur F. Schultz has it.
Gus Anderson Field. I'm Gary Drapcho with Jim LaCorchick as we get set for the opening kickoff, and a little bit of strategy right away in the game on the coin toss, which was won by McDowell, but run by Cathedral Prep, but they elected to defer, Jim. Is that because of the weather, or they have something else in mind here?
A wise decision. I'm a firm believer. You like that ball the start of the second half. I mean, if you lose momentum the end of the first half, you can always take it back offensively. Gary, I think it should be noted the flag is absolutely limp. That's the good news. At least it's not rainy and windy. It's just rainy. Unless the flag's so wet it can't move.
And I don't know whether I've been here for too long or not, but it does appear that there's it's let up a little bit. Maybe I'm just being optimistic as we start the game. Who knows? But here we go, underway. Nice kick. McDowell will take it with Aaron Slocum gathering it into the 5-yard line. Straight up the middle and a huge hole. Slocum is dragged down at the 38-yard line where McDowell will take over 1st and 10. So Aaron Slocum does what he does best, and that is to give McDowell a good field position with a fine kickoff return.
Gary, talked to McDowell coach John Cashone before the game. John, what do you think? He says, Prep's real good. He said, much better in their record. He said, their special teams have killed them. He said they gave up an opening kickoff return last week. We hope to break one, and boom, right on the button. There they go.
McDowell 7-0, Cathedral Prep 2-5, and despite the fact that McDowell is undefeated, they have dropped from 5th to out of the top 10 in the state the past 2 weeks. Caldwell on the option play, runs it up the field, has some positive yardage, crosses the 40 and gets out to the 44-yard line. The big quarterback with a little reverse pivot off the center snap and then took it back upside as the Toyota dealers, your local Toyota dealers, bring you tonight's starting lineup. This is the big offensive line of the Trojans of McDowell. Pat Mifsud is out of this game. 27 stitches in his wrist due to an accident in shop class at school, and he is not playing tonight, so that is a loss in the wide receiver position.
We'll talk
Jim.
more about him, Gary.
Caldwell gained 4 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 6, and the flag is thrown as the snap of the football occurs. The play is whistled dead.
Gary, we were going to talk about Pat Mifsud and how they'll miss him.
Let's hear the call from referee Dave Wiley first, Jim.
Dead ball foul. Encroachment on the offense. Still seconded.
They miss him already because that was Pat Mifsud's replacement that was just a little premature on the count. Also, defensively, as quiet as it's kept, I thought he made the play of the game against Central.
Yes, he
when
did.
The man was wide open in the corner of the left end zone, and he closed and knocked the ball down. Mifsud's a very solid player for the Trojans.
And he will be missed, perhaps missing next week's game against Altoona as well. 2nd down and 10. Caldwell wants to throw. Throws to a wide-open receiver at the 35, at the 30, and down to the 21-yard line. Jamie Respecki pulls it in. He was wide open in the secondary, and in the rain and the mud, Brian Caldwell threw a strike. That was pretty impressive.
I'm a firm believer in throwing in weather like this, Gary. I really think it favors the passing team, and if you pass with confidence, Respecki comes out clean, absolutely total breakdown in the Prep pass defense. Nobody picked him up short, and the safety, Hinkler, had to come over and take him one-on-one. But I like McDowell's game plan. They went wide, and then they threw. They don't care about the weather right now, and I think they learned last year.
Huge gain on the play. 1st and 10 for McDowell at the 22-yard line. That one from their own 38 down to the 22. Little play action fake again. Caldwell back to throw. Throws for the end zone. Respecki is there. Touchdown, McDowell. Jamie Respecki on consecutive plays, pulling in passes from Brian Caldwell, the second from 22 yards away. And McDowell, in just over a minute and a half into the game, have scored the first points of the game. It's 6-0.
Apparently, Gary, they're just showing a new formation. That's twice now. Respecki just comes out clean once again, and nobody's near him. They had 2 men wide open, just going straight down the field. Again, Caldwell, little play fake. Prep defenders bite on it absolutely, and there's Respecki running clear once again.
Extra point attempt by Jeff Heil. Snap is good, the hold is good, and the kick is good. And with 10:21 remaining here in the first quarter, it is 7-0 in favor of the Trojans. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Can you identify who it was that frightened you, ma'am?
I'll try.
This Halloween, terrifying creatures are on the loose at Taco Bell. Wanted, Gus Goosebumps at Taco Bell. Slappy's Candy Keeper, Cuddles the Horrible Hamster, Rappin' Mummy, and Skullmobile. Get them now. Goosebumps collectibles only at Taco Bell.
Erie Sports Store's Team Jacket sale is now in progress. Buy now and save 20% on all licensed team jackets from Starter, Pro Player, and Reebok. Choose from nearly 1,000 jackets in all the hottest teams. You won't find a larger selection of team jackets at greater savings than at the Erie Sports Stores. Score big now during the Erie Sports Store's Team Jacket sale. Going on now. Erie Sports Stores. We do it right.
Erie Sports Stores. We do it right.
Gary Drapcho with Jim LaCorchick, and in 3 plays, McDowell is able to score, covering the last 62 yards on 2 pass plays from Caldwell to Respecki, Jim.
Oh, great game plan. As I said, in the rain, Gary, I love it. The rain shouldn't stop you that much.
So Jeff Heil will boot the ball at the 40-yard line, and the Ramblers will get it back and get it for the first time. Runs straight up the middle and wide open as he comes across the 35 and gets out to the 40-yard line. And that is where the Ramblers will take over 1st and 10. Chris Loomis, number 11, carrying the football for the Ramblers. So good field position for the Cathedral Prep Ramblers as your local Toyota dealers bring you the starting offensive lineup for the Cathedral Prep Ramblers.
Not exactly the beginning that Coach John Berchtold wanted for his team.
Matt DiRamo, Tony Bowers in that backfield. Gemler, the junior quarterback, getting the start here tonight. Keith Feasant is his backup. He has played a couple of games this year for Coach John Berchtold. We saw the Ramblers' opening game of the season when they beat Washington Ballou High School. And here is DeRamo being stacked up hard as he gets close to the 40-yard line. Gain of 2. It'll be 2nd down and about 9 yards to go. Prep won their first 2 games. They beat Buffalo St. Francis the following week after they had defeated Washington Ballou in our opening game of the week back on August 30th out at Fairview. Seems like ages ago. But then since that time, losing 5 consecutive games, some to pretty good teams. They should have beat Glen Mills here. They had the lead on them, and then a fumble recovery for a touchdown went the other way, and Glen Mills ended up winning the game.
Well, Gary, they got to show their defense they can move the ball, or it'll be a long evening for Prep.
2nd down and 8. They mark DeRamo's progress outside the 40-yard line. He's got the football again, trying to find the corner. Cuts it back inside and gets about 2, maybe 3 yards out close to the 44-yard line. So it appears that as you take a look at this fine McDowell defense, defensive coordinator John Cashone leading the way. 4 shutouts by this defense. That includes a pretty good set of linebackers led by Aaron Slocum. And Ryan Irvin has to have an interest in this game. He was on the other side of the football a year ago. Pat Mibson, as we've already mentioned, out after suffering a cut on his wrist during the course of school and in shop class this past week.
State College scored 28 points, mostly on big plays, though. They didn't have any sustained drives. Prep's going to have to bust some. I don't see them really putting a drive together.
First big 3rd down play for the Ramblers as 3rd and 5 at the 44. Here comes DeRamo, 1st down in the secondary, shedding tackles and gets into McDowell territory on a nice bit of running by the senior. And it's a 1st and 10 for the Ramblers as they're able to knock off that 3rd down conversion and get it into Trojan territory. Good bit of running by Matt DeRamo.
DeRamo's an outstanding football player. Real good quickness, not a big kid, but very, very strong for his size. That was a huge play for the Prep offense to show that they could move the ball, especially running wide with DeRamo.
Ryan Irvin, number 4, is the man calling the defensive signals for the Trojans, and he was the player who last year was wearing the black and gold of Cathedral Prep.
I was watching McDowell on those 3 plays. They're really going for the ball on this wet night. They're definitely looking for some fumbles.
High formation set up with Tony Bowers in the fullback position in front of DeRamo. Here is Bowers bowling straight ahead, trying to follow his offensive line. Gets 2, maybe 3 yards inside the 45 to the 44-yard line, where number 51, Matt Catalino, comes off the bottom of the pile with the tackle for the Trojans.
You know, McDowell's coaching staff not taking this game for granted, Gary. They stayed in Harrisburg last week. They traveled to Harrisburg to scout Prep and Central Dauphin. And as I said, talking to the McDowell defensive coordinator, he said Prep's a solid football team.
The rain continues to fall. One thing to keep in mind is that the field will not get in better condition as we move along, so the early strikes by McDowell here in the first quarter could be a big advantage for them as the field conditions deteriorate. Prep trying to set things up. Now timeout is called as Gemler saw some movement. Someone did not know where to position himself. And Gemler very alertly calls the timeout and says, what's going on here? We'll take a break. 7-0 in favor of the Trojans. 7:15 left in the first quarter. Our game of the week live from Gus Anderson Field.
Who doesn't want to make the world a little safer? Safer schools, safer homes, even safer cars. The new Camry features dual airbags and a reinforced passenger cabin. We're making the world a safer place, one new Camry at a time. The new Camry, smarter, more confident, better than ever.
The EKG here shows that you're
For most people, chest pain is something that's very scary. And oftentimes the patients are convinced, and they've tried to convince every family member that's been with them, that it's not cardiac, that it's something else.
Can you tell me, sir?
What we need to do is to get them to simply say, I'm having chest pain. I need to make sure it's not my heart. And then for them to come in and see us.
Have you take a deep breath?
That's where it takes the experts to figure out when that's cardiac and when it's not.
Welcome back to Gus Anderson Field, where Matt DeRamo, just before that break ended, carried the football to the outside, got a couple of yards to the 43-yard line. Good pursuit by the McDowell defense. Sets up a 3rd down and about 7 yards to go, Jim. And sooner or later, Gemler will have to test this McDowell defense and test his own ability to throw in this rain.
Prep has to at least be able to look like they can throw the ball, or there will be no running room at all. And you can see DeRamo right here just outnumbered. Prep has to be able to throw the ball. They have to pass block.
Yeah, good tackle by Aaron Slocum on that last play. Here comes DeRamo over the right side, is tripped up as he gets to the line of scrimmage. That is Brian Caldwell, the quarterback, playing defensive end and playing it oh so tough, as he has done numerous times this year, dragging DeRamo down for no gain. Actually, maybe they give him a couple of yards to the 40.
Gary,
it's going to be 4th down and about 4.
Brian Caldwell took the blocker, beat the blocker, and made the tackle. I mean, he's been playing sensational defensive football as of late. Otherwise, DeRamo gets near a 1st down. Great play by Caldwell.
So Cathedral Prep appears to be in punting formation. They have the ball in McDowell territory at the 41-yard line. And, of course, this explosive McDowell offense, even in the bad weather conditions tonight, you do not want to give them good field position. Laban Marsh was back. The ball just kind of sludges in the mud. Laban Marsh picks it up at the 5, runs up to the 10, maybe the 11-yard line, where McDowell will take over 1st and 10. That ball normally might have bounced to the end zone, but it like a 9-iron on the 18th green. It just stuck at the 5.
Marsh did what he had to do, Gary, get as many positive yards as he could. Otherwise, it would have been dead, as you said, on the 2-yard line. Now it's on the 12.
In case you're just joining us, we're glad you're nice and warm and safe wherever you are as you take a look at the defensive line and the defensive lineup of Cathedral Prep, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 1st and 10 at the 11. Caldwell turns, hands the ball to the fullback, and the big fullback rumbles his way, Rob Greiger, for about 3, maybe 4 yards up to the 15-yard line.
I think McDowell put a lot of wrinkles in for this evening, Gary, that we haven't seen earlier in the season. Just that little counter play to the fullback.
Trojans scored on their first possession. A 22-yard touchdown pass from Caldwell to Jamie Respecki less than 2 minutes into the game, giving McDowell the 7-0 lead, which they own with 5 minutes and 10 seconds on a turning clock here left to play in the first quarter. 2nd down, 6. Here's Caldwell. He's going to take the ball himself, running up the field, has a 1st down, 20, 25, and out to the 30. As Brian Caldwell made the right decision to turn it up inside and pick up the necessary yardage for a 1st down. Chris Loomis, one of the tacklers, up to make the stop for the Rambler defense.
As I said before the game, you asked me, I thought Caldwell was going to have a huge game. You can see right here, he just plows straight ahead on the field and runs through a couple tackles, gains another 5 yards after he's hit. Gary, he's looking at plays on his wrist. He's got some new plays taped to his wrist. I'm telling you, they're looking good offensively.
A lot of misdirection so far in the McDowell offense. That's Slocum in motion to the bottom of your screen. And Caldwell on the inside handoff, the first of the night by Laban Marsh, who not only leads this team in rushing, but he leads this team in receiving, and he leads this team in scoring with 19 touchdowns. That time, Cathedral Prep was able to handle him after a gain of Well, he actually may have lost about a half a yard as they mark it back inside the 30. So we'll call it 2nd down and 11 yards to go for the Trojans.
Good tackle in there by Aaron Hurdle that time.
Prep could use a stop right here with 4:05 remaining in the first quarter. McDowell scored quickly on its first possession. 2 big pass plays, both of them to Jamie Respecki, the last 22 yards that got the touchdown. Caldwell on the pitch, gets it to Marsh, and good pursuit by the Rambler defense.
Fumble,
the ball
Gary.
did come loose, but as you see the official pointing to the ground, saying the ball was bounced out by the ground. The ground caused the fumble, so it stays in the possession of McDowell. And another fine defensive play, and that's exactly what Cathedral Prep has to do, cut the corners off from Laban Marsh in this McDowell offense.
Good play by Jeff Brzezinski coming from his linebacker spot, too, not only to make him pitch the ball, then to take the pitch man and get in on the tackle.
Take a look at it again.
Almost bobbled it there. Pitches, and definitely down, I think.
Right, Loomis also in on that tackle. 3rd down and about 10. Just outside the 30 with Slocum set in motion behind quarterback Caldwell. I formation, Caldwell straight back in the pocket, looks to throw, flips it out to Marsh. They've got the screen set up at the 30. Marsh 35, Marsh at the 40, has a first down as he slides ahead to the 47-yard line. They set up the screen well, and with those big blockers in front of him, led by number 74, Zach Martin, Laban Marsh was able to pick his way for a big first down that keeps the drive alive for McDowell.
That's the difference. 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. The Trojans are a threat. You can see right here they did a great job of setting the screen up, and Marsh doing a good job of reading his blockers, getting the first down, fighting for every possible yard. Prep can't afford to get down 2 scores. I don't think they have the offense to come back, so the defense has to do it on this drive. I know it's early in the game, but it couldn't get pretty for them.
And you also have to factor in the weather conditions, the field conditions, all less than ideal here and deteriorating as the night moves along. Here's Caldwell with the straight-ahead give to Marsh, dances to the outside at midfield at the 45, takes on a tackler, and down he goes at the 42-yard line. But Laban Marsh appears to pick up maybe 11, 12 yards at another McDowell first down. So the Trojan offense on the move. The big play, the 3rd and 10 screen pass that kept it alive, and now they've got another first down. And you see Marsh, the 5'11", 170-pound senior, and what he has done for this McDowell offense is take some of the pressure off Brian Caldwell to make all the plays. Timeout is being called with 2 minutes and 26 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. McDowell has a 7-0 lead on this Prep defense, and the obvious timeout here, Jim, is to give these guys a chance to regroup because, as you mentioned, they cannot afford to get down by 2 scores.
No, John Birchall taking a smart timeout. He knows it's getting into a do-or-die situation. It's 4-down territory already. They started on their own 12-yard line. It took them 3 plays to score with the opening kickoff. So he may want to make some adjustments right now. The McDowell game plan so far has been absolutely flawless.
There is John Birchtold in his first year as head coach of Cathedral Prep, and almost the deferring of the coin flip almost backfiring on Prep because they gave McDowell the football first, and boom, boom, in 3, maybe 4 plays, including 2 big pass plays from Caldwell to Respecki, they were able to score the first touchdown of the game. So 1st and 10 for the Trojans. They lead 7-0 with 2:26 remaining here in the first quarter, and they have the ball at the Cathedral Prep 42-yard line. You see the puddles in the middle of the field. That is probably the worst part of the field between the 40s and between the hash marks. That's Greiger in motion. Caldwell nearly loses the snap, then decides to take it himself, and is stood up nicely by the Ramblers at the 40-yard line after only a gain of 2. Number 36, Jeff Brzezinski, is the man who makes the stop for Cathedral Prep.
Is that a busted play, Gary? Was that a busted play?
It looked like he bobbled the snap a bit.
I mean,
although not sure on that one. Maybe he just decided to turn it up inside on the option.
Yeah, it looked like maybe he's going to run the option and just saw the whole center of the field open up.
2nd down 7, under 2 minutes to play first quarter. Rain continues to fall at Gus Anderson, as well as the temperature. It's a chilly night. Caldwell, play action fake, rolling right, under some pressure, flips it out that way, nearly intercepted, flag goes down, and it was caught on the far side of the field by Rob Greiger, number 44, at about the 37-yard line.
Ineligible receiver downfield, Gary. Brian Caldwell just went over and got in the offensive lineman's face. At least that's what I'm calling on this, and it was pretty apparent.
Dave Wiley explaining the situation to Cathedral Prep, so yes, it is against McDowell, and here comes the call by Mr. Wiley.
Ineligible man downfield on the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still taken down.
The McDowell left guard, for some reason, just took off, and you can see him come running back trying to get there.
He was further downfield than Greiger was, yes. Maybe he thought he was the intended receiver.
Loss of down, Gary? They got third down.
I don't think it's
second down.
I think it's still second down, and they mark it from the point of infraction, so they move it back to the 45-yard line. It'll be second down and 13 with 1:40 remaining. A reminder that CBS Primetime, if you're tuning in for that on a Friday, it will be shown on Sunday at 4 o'clock. Now we've got another timeout on the field. McDowell taking a timeout to try to regroup here and leading 7-0, not wanting to let this drive slip away. By the way, the gator that our field camera is riding on is provided by Brown's Equipment. Westlaw Road in Northeast, your John Deere headquarters. Nothing runs like a deer. Bill Palmer doing the duties in the rain of the gator.
Coach Ronnie Rudler reading the riot act to the offensive lineman that ran downfield.
We've seen this McDowell team twice so far this year. They beat Youngstown Ursuline 3-0 on a controversial call. Youngstown Ursuline punt return, apparently taken back for a touchdown with under 2 minutes to play, was called back because of a penalty behind the play. Too many men on the field. And then they were nearly given a upset by Central 2 weeks ago during homecoming. Central coming within 3 points of beating this McDowell team. Here's a quick snap, as you see. Nobody's ready for it. Laban Marsh at the 30, at the 20, and a first down. A flag is down back upfield, so it may not have been set up exactly right, but a flag is down, and we'll have to take a look at this one again.
It's called a muddle huddle, I believe, Gary.
Illegal procedure against McDowell. So they're going to bring this one back as well. So the muddle huddle, as you see it, no real huddle. They just kind of, after the timeout, just kind of get together in almost a scrum-like condition.
Here's a great replay. There's Ron Rudler in the huddle. He's going off the field. The center sprints over to the ball.
You saw him do that.
We have the illegal procedure.
They didn't have
offense. They were not set for 1 second prior to the snap of the ball. Everybody was moving. Center? Everybody.
Everybody, he says.
I'd like to see that one more time to maybe stop it and count some heads when we get a break sometime. They said everybody was moving.
Well, when you said that McDowell went into their playbook and drew up a few new plays for this game, you weren't kidding, Jim LaCorchik. They have been doing that all night.
Yeah, they're ready.
And we're still in the first quarter. Well, the penalty moves it back to midfield. It's second down now, about 18. They need to get to the 32 to move the sticks. So a chance now for Cathedral Prep to come up with a big defensive stop.
Might be bad for Prep, forcing them to throw.
Here's a little inside throw to Laban Marsh, and that time the Ramblers' defense is there to make the stop on the play. Chris Loomis, as well as number 2, Matt DeRamo, up to make the stop, as well as number 64, Nate Feeney.
Mitch Gruskevich out there. They had that one well read. All right, here's the replay, I believe, of the muddle.
Right. They're kind of getting together. That's an awful long replay.
All right, this is, third down and 18, Gary?
Yeah, we'll get back to that in a second. Third down and 18, so a big stop here for Cathedral Prep as they trail in the game 7-0. 30 seconds remaining, first quarter. Caldwell straight back, under some pressure, down the middle, deflected and incomplete. Number 64, Nate Feeney, got his hand on the football. It was intended for Rispecki running down over the middle. And it's 4th and 18, and a big defensive play that time for the Ramblers.
Mental errors will kill you, Gary. They had that ineligible receiver downfield. It was all over after that. DeRamo blitzing from his safety on that play.
Back into punt formation is Jeff Heil, standing back at his 37-yard line. Loomis, one deep man back there. They'll kick it away from Loomis. And down on one knee is number 27, Ryan Nitupski. And Nitupski is called down as he caught the ball with his knee on the ground, and that's a no-no. Once your knee hits the ground, you are down, and he does so at the 16-yard line. So the Ramblers dodged a bullet thanks to some concentration lapses as we take a look at that replay again.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and the center was 6. They had 4 backs and 1 behind. They only had 6 men, I think, on the line of scrimmage.
7 men on the line of scrimmage to make the play complete. So that's a good replay from the guys.
Great replay.
17 seconds remaining, and Cathedral Prep now from the 16-yard line will have a 1st and 10. First quarter action. McDowell leading 7-0 here from Gus Anderson Field. And they give it straight ahead, and that looks like Bowers, and Bowers puts the head and shoulders down and rumbles it out close to the 20-yard line. Picks up positive yardage, about 3 on the play. That will be the final play here of the first quarter as we tick down 4, 3, 2, and 1. McDowell has had the better of it so far, but Cathedral Prep is hanging in. It's 7-0 Trojans after 1 from Gus Anderson Field. We'll be back with more of our Game of the Week in just a moment.
Runners and walkers know how important it is for athletic shoes to have the right balance between fitting properly, absorbing shocks, and protecting against injury. That's why more and more they're choosing New Balance from Krug Shoes in Erie. Designed from the ground up, New Balance are built like almost no other athletic shoe. They fit. Men to size 16, women to size 13, in widths from AA to 4E. Try on a pair of New Balance at Krug Shoes, 2425 Peach in Erie, and see what a difference it makes when your shoes actually fit.
Service and convenience. Nobody hammers at home like Value Home Centers during Super Value Days.
Save on Black & Decker. This 3/8-inch variable speed reversing drill is now just $29. And this 2 1/3 horsepower circular saw is only $39.
Just in time for holiday arts and crafts, Value has American Accents paints on sale. Spray is just 77 cents after mail-in rebate, and quartz are just $2.77 after mail-in rebate.
Always convenient. Value Home Centers, where we hammer the lowest advertised prices guaranteed.
Can you identify who it was that frightened you, ma'am?
I'll try.
This Halloween, terrifying creatures are on the loose at Taco Bell. Wanted Goosebumps at Taco Bell. Slappy's Candy Keeper, Cuddles the Horrible Hamster, Rappin' Mummy, and Skullmobile. Get them now. Goosebumps collectibles only at Taco Bell.
Did you know that the average car engine can generate enough heat to warm a 6-room house? If winter driving is a chilling experience for you, it's time to visit Canfield Radiator at 18th and State. Serving our community for over 40 years, the Canfield professionals will analyze, explain, and correct your car's heating or radiator problem. Drive in comfort this winter. Visit the experts at Canfield Radiator, Erie's oldest and largest heater radiator specialists.
Welcome back here to Gus Anderson Field. I'm Gary Drapcho with Jim LaKorchik as we begin the second quarter. Cathedral Prep with a 2nd down and 7 at the 15-yard line. And here comes Matt DeRamo, and tackled from behind, wrapped up, and down he goes right at the point of the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard on the play. Here's what's coming up at halftime. We'll have our Academic Sports League. Ever wonder what really happened with Brad Orlando down at Penn State? We'll tell you the real story. It's more than just a neck injury. Our spotlight is on Cathedral Prep this week. We'll tell you more about that. And, of course, we'll break in with all the latest News Watch on the News Watch News Break.
This game going according to form for Ron Rudler, though, Gary. They're moving the ball, field position. Prep's having trouble running. Looks good for the Trojans as of this moment.
3rd down and 7. Fumble off the snap. It's loose on the ground. They're scrambling for it as you see the water flying, and they say 4th down. Cathedral Prep is given the football, but they'll be forced to punt from deep in their own territory as number 4, Ryan Irvin, comes up off the bottom of that pile for the Ramblers, or for the Trojans, I should say, and Matt Catalino, number 51, as well, was scrambling for it.
McDowell's always had great success trying to block kicks. We'll see if they put any pressure on the Prep punter the first time they didn't. You can see right here, Gemler just never came up with the ball. It's laying around there, and finally an alert Prep player jumped on it.
So McDowell's defense has done their job.
They're overloading on the right side here, Gary. Then they back off.
Good snap in these wet conditions. Some pressure. Ball will hit at the 45. Laban Marsh will let it roll and let it go, and it's down at about the 45-yard line. So good field position for McDowell for their first possession here of the second quarter as they lead it 7-0. As they pin Cathedral Prep back deep in its own territory, and then the McDowell defense forcing them to punt after 3 downs to give them good field position on the return possession.
The Rambler defense had some help from the Trojans the last possession. We'll see if the John Birchtold, the changes he made during that timeout have paid off. because McDowell was definitely doing some things different offensively.
You saw some of the hardy souls across the way who braved the ideal, less than ideal conditions here at Gus Anderson Field tonight. Single setback is Marsh behind Caldwell. And Marsh has the football, trying to turn the corner. Prep's ganging up on him. Good cutback by Laban Marsh against the grain, against the pursuit, and drives it across midfield into Prep territory at the 47-yard line. And that is why Laban Marsh has over 1,300 total yards in catching, running, and punt and kickoff returns this season for McDowell.
Prep defense did a good job of stringing it out, but Marsh just did a better job of cutting it back against the grain. And Prep is without number 40, Chris Dudley, who I think is one of their best defensive players. He's ill this evening, and he's a good one.
Second down and 2 with Slocum in motion to the bottom of your screen. Here's Greiger, straight ahead, puts the head and shoulders down, barrels it inside the 45, has a first down for McDowell at the Cathedral Prep 43-yard line. So they keep it on the ground. They go Marsh outside, Greiger inside, and they pick up the necessary yardage to move the sticks.
Difference right now is Gary McDowell has shown they can throw the ball. Prep hasn't attempted a pass yet.
Let's take a look at some of the first quarter stats, Jim.
You can see McDowell dominating, 5 first downs to 1, 36 to 25 rushing, 81 to 0 passing, 117-25 total yards, time of possession 6:55 to 5:05.
Yeah, that 81 yards passing, nearly all of it coming in that first possession. 62 yards on 2 pass plays, the last 22 for a touchdown to Jamie Respecki. Here comes Slocum on the little inside counter, and Slocum is belted hard as he falls inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. Prep had that defended well, and a play that we've seen go for 20, 15, sometimes more is only held to 3 by the Prep defense.
Good job by Mike Zona staying home. You can see number 33 at Prep getting the hit.
Nice
Slocum
shot.
Still getting positive yardage. Good job by the Prep defender.
Just inside the 40, 8 minutes and 55 seconds and counting till halftime. McDowell leading 7-0 on their home turf, but remember, they're the visitors tonight. This is a Cathedral Prep home game. Caldwell, after the play-action fake to Greiger, turns it back up inside and gets a couple of more yards up to the 36-yard line, where it'll be third down at about 5.
Well, you can see Caldwell is really involved in the McDowell offense this evening. Throwing, running, they're really riding this big horse.
Had his one of his better games of the season last week when he threw 2 touchdowns in a 42-28 win over State College. And if Penn State had an interest in him, it was Penn State homecoming weekend. There were a few scouts, as I understand, at that game.
He's just such a good all-around athlete.
Yes, he is. Third down and 5. Caldwell, play-action fake. Nice block to keep him clean. Flings it down for Jamie Respecki and just overthrew him at the 15-yard line.
Who was that? Laban Marsh or 74? Zach Martin did a sensational job of letting Caldwell get that ball off. Again, Respecki, though, wide open. You can see right here that that's, I think, Martin.
Yeah, 70, Zach Martin.
70?
Or 70 is Joe Kaufman, if that was 70. And now timeout being called by McDowell. They want to talk about it on 4th and 5, and we'll talk about some commercials in the meantime. 8:03 remaining in the second quarter. McDowell with a 7-0 lead.
Behind the name, behind the label, behind the good taste, behind the quality, stand your friends, your neighbors, your family, and ours. Handicapped. And now we're bigger and better than ever with Mrs. Paul's.
A safety message from the Erie Metropolitan Transit Authority. When waiting to board an EMTA bus, remember to stand several feet back from the curb until the bus comes to a complete stop and the doors are open. Also, allow current passengers to disembark before stepping onto the bus. While riding, be sure to stay seated while the bus is in motion and be respectful of others. Observe the signs posted for the safety of everyone. This bus safety reminder has been brought to you by EMTA, the Erie Metropolitan Transit Authority.
Gary Rapcho with Jim Korchik at 8:03 remaining in the second quarter. McDowell with a 7-0 lead. Still raining, but not nearly as hard as it was at the beginning of the game. 4th down, McDowell will go for it at the 37. Here's a little inside double reverse to Aaron Slocum, and he can't get away from number 1, Rob Joyce. and Rob Joyce hung on by the ankle and stopped him short of the first down marker. Nice job for Cathedral Prep.
Gary, the most success against Caldwell all year has been blitzing, and I think McDowell anticipated that. And Rob Joyce doing a super job on McDowell's bread and butter play, that double handoff. There's Joyce with help from Zona, but Joyce was the man there.
He just hung on to Slocum's ankle and would not let go. And so the change of possession on the failed fourth down attempt by McDowell gives the Ramblers better field position than they had before on their previous possession. This one starts at the 36. They had it back at the 11 on their last possession, had to punt from the shadow of their own goalposts. Here is Gemler, handing it to DeRamo. Big hole over the left side at the 50, and taken out of bounds in the mud on the McDowell side of the field at the 47-yard line. But it's a 1st and 10 for the Ramblers, and they opened up a huge hole for Matt DeRamo on the left side of that offensive line, Jim.
Wow. The blocking was there. McDowell's playing run all the way. What a great job by the Prep offensive line sealing that off. And there's DeRamo switching hands and going one-on-one, Marsh and DeRamo. There's two pretty good senior athletes. Here it is. Great job of blocking. DeRamo with that good quickness, and a nice job by Marsh.
Nice slide into the mud as it continues to rain here. So Prep now creeping into McDowell territory at the 46-yard line is where they mark it. High formation. Here's DeRamo again, straight ahead. Slocum puts the crack on him, but not before DeRamo picks up a solid 5 yards down to the 41-yard line. And all of a sudden, the Ramblers bouncing off that offensive line and moving some people out up front.
Yeah, they really are, Gary. They're just playing heads up and taking them on. And I'm telling you, give DeRamo any room at all. He's a good athlete. Good baseball player.
Our officiating crew tonight, led by referee Dave Wiley, Jim.
Veteran crew, Lou Presta, Don Zaki, Dave Arneman, and Bill Hale.
2nd down 5. Under 7:15 remaining second quarter. McDowell with a 7-0 lead, but the Ramblers putting together their first offensive threat of the night. Here is DeRamo, and he can't get out of the backfield. He was stacked up behind the line of scrimmage as they really stacked up the fullback in front of him, Tony Bowers. Bowers was trying to throw a lead block, and he was stopped in the backfield, and DeRamo just ran up his back for no gain, a loss of 2 on the play.
Greiger doing a nice job, too, right there. You can see the rushing statistics. Vic Martin from East, but Laban Marsh from McDowell averaging 7 yards a carry, and DeRamo averaging over 5.
Couple of the good backs. DeRamo's the leading rusher for this Cathedral Prep team as well. So all of a sudden it was 2nd and 5. Now it's 3rd down and about 6. And a big play coming up here at the 42-yard line. Tight eye formation is set behind quarterback Jim Gemler, who takes the snap, goes back to throw, flips it over the middle, has Mike Zona. Zona has a first down inside the 35 to the 33-yard line. Zona from his tight end position just kind of snuck out behind the linebackers, and a short little dump-off pass by Gemler, good enough to pick up the first down.
Looked like they were going to run maybe the option play with Gemler, and Zona was the only receiver they sent out on that play, Gary, and he was still kind of all alone, and John Cashone on the sideline less than enthusiastic about the defensive effort that time.
So Cathedral Prep keeps the drive alive. They're inside the 35 now with a new set of downs to work with at the 33-yard line. 6 minutes remaining first half. Here's DeRamo on the pitch, trying to cut the corner and won't get there as number 24, Nick Mihal, one of the fine underclassmen linebackers on John Cashone's defense, drags him down from behind. And he might have gotten a yard, but not much more.
Mihal doing a nice job as DeRamo's trying to get some working room out there. You'll see right here that Gemler straight pitch to DeRamo. He cuts it outside. Mihal just has the angle out there.
Big number 24 doing his job. Gain of a yard on the play. They mark it just inside the 32-yard line. We'll call it 2nd down and 9. Once again, 2 tight ends. That tight end on the right side is the man in motion. That's number 41, Jeff Van Volkenberg. And here comes DeRamo over the left side trying to pick a hole. Flag is down, 30, 25, 20. He's run out at the 20-yard line, but a flag thrown back in the Ramblers' offensive backfield. And usually that does not spell good news for the offense.
No, not at all. We'll see what referee Dave Wiley.
So instead of having a first down at the 20, they'll move this one back.
You can see DeRamo doing a great job right there. There's the flag into the picture. Official Dave Arneman right on it.
You could say instead of a 1st and 10 at the 20, they're going to move this one back as we look at Dave Wiley and his call.
Holding. on the offense. That's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay.
It was taken from the spot of the foul, Jim, which was behind the line of scrimmage.
Right.
So not only does it, as you take a look at the officials for tonight's game, it happened behind the line of scrimmage. So not only is that yardage tacked off, but then the 10 yards for the holding penalty is tacked off from that point. So it moves it all the way back to the 45, and it makes it 2nd and 22.
Prep just hasn't had the offense all year to overcome those kinds of mistakes, and they were rolling.
Here's Zona on a little reverse, and this one goes nowhere. He may have even lost a yard again. They tried a little misdirection of the McDowell defense. Nothing doing. Laban Marsh was there. Ronaldo Batista coming up from his corner position on that side to make the stop as well. And Zona, with a rare rushing opportunity, is quickly corralled for no gain on the play. So it's 3rd down and 22 at the 45-yard line. Clock rolling with 4:30 remaining here in the first half. So Prep had something going, and then the holding penalty.
A lot of misdirection does not work against the McDowell defense. They're just too fundamentally sound. They stay home on everything.
Absolutely. I think you need some quick hitters to really kind of throw them off balance and get them with their back on their heels. 3rd and 22 from the 45. Single setback. And Gemler will look to throw right, trying to set up the screen. It's not setting up very well. He throws it, nearly intercepted. Tip, and it's caught. Well, somebody from Cathedral Prep caught it after it was tipped a number of times, but for no gain on the play. Van Valkenburg came down with it, but no gain on the play. It was nearly intercepted, a dangerous pass by Gemler, but the screen just didn't develop as quickly as it should have, Jim.
Again, I talked about a good defense, Gary, playing their position, and there's nothing there just because they're where they're supposed to be. So the holding call, definitely a big boost for the McDowell on that one.
Yeah, instead of a 1st and 10 down near the 20, now Cathedral Prep is forced to punt from back near midfield. 3:27 remaining here in the first half. McDowell will get the football back, leading 7-0. They pooch punt it down to the 25, and Laban Marsh will pick it up there. Skips by 1 tackle, gets across the 30, and is still driving ahead. Let's see where they knock him out of bounds, but it was much better than had he let the ball just simply die there. He picked it up, took a chance, and made something positive out of it. And McDowell will take over 1st and 10 from that point with 3:15 remaining here in the first half.
I'll tell you, it was very easy for McDowell the first possession and part of the second possession. After John Birchtold took that timeout, the Prep defense has really come to life, and the Ramblers showed signs of driving the ball. But again, they don't have the offense, Gary, on 2nd and 15, 3rd and 18 to have the big play. They don't have a real good passing attack. They don't give their quarterback time. They can't afford mistakes.
Here's the pitch to Laban Marsh. Marsh cutting it back up the field, slogging through the mud, and gets to the 30-yard line for a gain of about 3. They marked it at the 27. As you take a look at it again, a face mask that was not called on that last play.
Great camera work right
Laban
there.
Marsh, right. Laban Marsh was the ball returner on that punt, but that face mask was not called.
And that's 15 yards. That really gives them field position.
Gain of 3 out to the 30. We'll call it 2nd down and 7 for McDowell. Clock continues to roll. We're under 2:45. McDowell, in case you're just joining us, scored after receiving the opening kick. In 4 plays, they drove down the field and scored. Here comes Greiger. Big hole up over the right side, across the 40, and out to the 45-yard line for a first down. Big Rob Greiger, the fullback, with a quick hitter up the middle, and good enough for a first down.
I'm looking for Jamie Respecki, though, if I'm the Prep defense, Gary. But right here, fullback right over right tackle. Another good job of blocking by Jeff Orn, and Greiger, a powerful runner.
Here's what's coming up at the half. We'll have the Academic Sports League and Brad Orlando, who played in this game a year ago. Talk to him. Plus spotlight on Prep in our news break coming up at halftime. Here's Caldwell. Little misdirection. Has some running room across midfield into Cathedral Prep territory and down to the 43-yard line. They had somebody running right, and Caldwell, after faking to Greiger up the middle, turned it up inside going left and picked up a solid 15 yards for a first down for the Trojans.
You can see right here there's just no linebackers around for Prep, as Caldwell just has open sailing for about 15 yards. And I think McDowell was thinking, let's just run this clock out. And they picked up so much yardage in 3 or 4 plays. They're thinking minimum field goal for, of course, their great kicker, Heil. And a couple shots at the end zone. Prep has yet to defend number 18 on the pass, Respecki.
He scored the only touchdown of this game on a 22-yard pass from Caldwell on the 4th play from scrimmage. And it stands that way right now. Greiger straight up the middle. and gets to the 40 for a gain of 3. And as the clock rolls to under a minute and 40 seconds remaining here in the first half, it will be 2nd down and 7 for the Trojans at the Cathedral Prep 40-yard line. No wind, as Jim mentioned here earlier. It is raining. In fact, the rain has let up considerably. It was pouring when we first started this affair, but at least it's not rainy and windy, as you mentioned. The flag is limp on the west side of the stadium. 2nd and 7 at the 40. Caldwell fumbles the snap and just wants to lay on it, which he does back at the 42-yard line. He thought about picking it up, but then thought better of it, and they'll call a timeout.
Gary, what a great job of pass protecting. Caldwell still didn't get hit. He fumbled it for about 5 seconds, fell on it, nobody touched him. I think they were going to throw. You'll see right here. Watch how long the ball's on the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, and look, there still isn't a Cathedral Prep player near him.
They were set up to do a nice job of pass blocking, no doubt about it.
Some of the brave souls that have come out here on the McDowell side. And as we mentioned, this is a Cathedral Prep home game, so they're wearing their home uniforms. The white tops that McDowell normally wears on the road, they're wearing them here at home tonight. And the 7 points for McDowell is on the visitor side of the scoreboard, but they decided that they would stay on their same sides of the field. So Cathedral Prep is still over on the traditional visitor side of the field here at Gus Anderson, despite the fact that they're the home team. So it shows a good mutual respect between the schools, Jim.
Absolutely. It's been a fun rivalry as of late.
Yes, it has
about
been.
10 years ago it was ugly. Gary, I think if you're Ron Rudler, you might want to look a little screen pass again to see if they figured out to defend it. If you're Prep, you may want to blitz. That's what's given McDowell the most trouble, but the obvious choice, of course, is respecting number 18.
3rd down, about 10. 1:03 remaining, first half. Greiger's the single setback as Marsh goes into a slot to the bottom of your screen. And again, a fumble on the snap, and Caldwell has to pick it up on one knee. And there goes the 3rd down play. It now becomes 4th down and about 12. The clock continues to roll, under 55 seconds remaining. And Ron Rudler sends in Jeff Heil and the punting team rather than take any more chances.
Just not getting the snap at all.
2nd consecutive play, and obviously the field conditions are less than ideal with the rain and deteriorating as the night goes along. So that score by McDowell on its first possession looking bigger and bigger as we move along in the game. 30 seconds remaining, and I think McDowell will wait as long as possible in order to give Cathedral Prep as little time as possible when they get this punt to have left in the first half to do something with it offensively.
Absolutely. If you're Prep, you don't even put anybody back. You just try and rush everybody.
Down to 13 seconds. I'm not sure if the clock can run out before the delay of game. No, they'll stop the clock with 9 seconds remaining and call the delay of game penalty against McDowell. And so with 9 seconds remaining now, it'll be a punting time for the Trojans.
Of course, if you're McDowell,
good ball foul. Delay of game on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still fun.
May just want to run the ball.
7-0 McDowell, 2-5 Cathedral Prep, and a 7-0 lead for the Trojans on what this could be the final play here of the first half. On a rain-soaked and chilly evening here from Gus Anderson Field. Good punt by Heil. Nobody was back for the Ramblers, and this one will die at the 5 and roll dead at around the 2 as the zeros show on the clock, and we are through. It is halftime at Gus Anderson. The Trojans have a 7-0 lead, and we'll be back with our halftime activities in just a moment. Stay with us.
Is your job security up in the air? Do you have a job with limited pay and no future? If so, now's the time to look at new options, to consider your choices, and to make changes. Your future is only as secure as your skills, so invest in yourself and get the skills that continue to offer employment and security. Careers in business administration, computers, secretarial, paralegal, and court reporting. Call Tri-State Business Institute now at 838-7673. That's 838-7673.
Service and convenience. Nobody hammers at home like Value Home Centers during Super Value Days. Dust and mold are invading your airspace. Ordinary filters can't stop them. You need the protection of a 3M Filtrete 600 filter, hammered down to just $6.99.
Save on heating bills with 3M window kits, the only kit with guaranteed 3M tape. The large kit covers 5 3x5 windows. Choose interior or exterior, just $9.88.
Always convenient. Value Home Centers, where we hammer the lowest advertised prices guaranteed.
Good evening. I'm Carol Wilson in the Newswatch newsroom. Here are a few of the stories we're working on for the night beat tonight at 11. We'll hear more from those snap-tie workers who told their story to Governor Ridge today. Also hear the company side as well. We'll have more details in the Johnny Gamage case and the story behind why the judge declared a mistrial. And we'll stop by a couple of places you might want to add to your Halloween tour list. Evan has a chilly forecast, and Gary, all the sports on Sports Watch. It's all coming up tonight on the Night Beat at 11. We hope you'll join us.
How would you like to go first class, top of the line, deluxe, for only 99 cents? Now you can at McDonald's. Just buy large fries and a medium drink, and you can get any deluxe sandwich for just 99 cents. Try a crispy chicken deluxe, or the grilled chicken deluxe, a fish fillet deluxe, even the arch deluxe with bacon. So many delectable deluxes for so little money. Just buy large fries and a medium drink, and you can go deluxe, 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 or deluxe for just 99 cents at McDonald's. Have you had your break today?
Count Cabula here to tell you how you can get a free connection from Erie Cablevision. Order cable now and bring your TV to life during those long, dark nights. Yeah, and there's also lots of fun educational shows for this little girls. And be sure to visit Cablevision's booth at Zubu for lots of money-saving coupons and treats for the children. So pick up the phone now and call for free installation. Be my guest.
The Halftime Report is sponsored by the Northwest Pennsylvania Technical Institute at PA Community College, the other choice for a college education. We give college credit for hands-on skills.
October of 1995. Brad Orlando of McDowell is injured in a game against Central at Gus Anderson Field. It was an injury that prevented Orlando from playing the rest of that game, but an injury that could have had an effect on the rest of his life.
I have two vertebrae in my neck that are fused together and a little bit slipped out of place. And this was from birth, but when I hit somebody at the end of last season, my senior season, my whole body went numb, and I guess that made the problem a little worse. It progressively got worse.
This was bittersweet for Brad Orlando. Yes, on one hand, his life may have been saved with the diagnosis of the neck problem. But on the other hand, this walk-on from McDowell had made the Penn State football team and could have played in the near future.
I have to look at it that I'm lucky that I am walking everything, because, I mean, I don't know, I could have been really bad, but I made the team, and that's something that I feel proud of. But I wish I could have been playing for the next few years, because I do have to watch them every weekend for the next 5 years and see people playing where I would have been.
So in a matter of months, Orlando went from his greatest high as an athlete, making the Penn State football team, to a devastating blow, a competitor not being able to compete.
Well, the first day, it was rough, but it hadn't quite hit me yet. And then the next couple weeks, it was just horrible. I mean, I had a goal and a dream set out, and I think I accomplished my goal because I came down here and I proved I could play football here.
The one sport Brad Orlando can play is baseball, and he made the most of it, making the Penn State baseball team as a walk-on.
They gave me a tryout. It was just me and 4 coaches, and I ran a little bit, I hit a little bit, but my main goal was to try out as a pitcher. And they had a little meeting, and about 10 minutes later, they told me that I made the fall team so far.
For Brad Orlando, his future may not be in football, but at least he has a future.
Can you identify who it was that frightened you, ma'am?
I'll try.
This Halloween, terrifying creatures are on the loose at Taco Bell. Wanted Goosebumps at Taco Bell. Slappy's Candy Keeper, Cuddles the Horrible Hamster, Rappin' Mummy, and Skullmobile. Get them now. Goosebumps collectibles only at Taco Bell.
Service and convenience. Nobody hammers at home like Value Home Centers during Super Value Days. Remember last winter? Be ready with a new Delta snow shovel guaranteed 5 years, on sale just $3.99, or choose the 19-inch pusher hammered down to just $4.99.
Stock up and save on Stonebridge tools at Value. This 10-in-1 ratchet screwdriver and bit set is just $2.99, and this heavy-duty hand truck is only $29.88.
Always convenient. Value Home Centers, where we hammer the lowest advertised prices guaranteed.
Welcome back to halftime, and as always, whether it's pouring down raining or we've got bright sunshine on a Saturday afternoon, we've got the Academic Sports League to feature on our Metro League Game of the Week. And with us, we have the Villa Maria Academy Academic Sports Team, and Sister Kathleen is the coach. Welcome, Sister.
Thank you. And I'd like to introduce our team.
Okay, go right ahead.
Right here we have Mark Strazer, who's a senior.
Okay.
And on the other side of you we have Teresa Crawford, who is a junior, and Mark Segg, who is a sophomore.
Well, since we're on that side, why don't we ask you guys some questions first. First of all, as far as the satisfaction of being on this team, what kind of satisfaction do you get out of it?
Well, I think it's nice to have the opportunity to study so many interesting subjects you wouldn't ordinarily be exposed to. It's a very competitive event.
Yeah, I would imagine so. What are some of your favorite subjects, and how much time do you spend on those subjects to get ready for something like this?
Well, we have meetings after school and that to prepare as a group, and we study individually. And subjects include like math and science and fine arts. Personally, I like fine arts, and then we get to write an essay, and I like that too.
Yeah, I would imagine so. That sounds pretty interesting. How about your favorite subjects?
I'd probably say math and science, because I'm a left-brain person. I like numbers.
And what kind of camaraderie do you get out of all of this? I would imagine you get a lot.
Yeah, a lot of teamwork. We basically learn what our strengths and weaknesses are, and we try and tutor each other based on that.
And Sister Kathleen, what kind of a team do you expect this year? Your first match coming up in early November.
Oh, I think our team is working very hard, and I expect them to do quite well. They did very well last year. We won about 20 or 22 medals. So this year we have more students participating. I think there are 32 students total participating. This is our third year.
That's tremendous. Congratulations on a great season, and all I know is that it probably doesn't rain during your matches, right? Unlike this game.
Well, the matches are inside, so it doesn't matter.
That'd be a great feat if it happened. Hey, thanks for joining us on the Academic Sports League. We'll have more halftime activities in just a moment. Stay with us.
It's a great learning experience.
And we're making
Lots of new friends. Come on, we're having fun.
Score big in the game of life. Join your school's Academic Sports League.
Cool.
Yeah.
The best place to be is home. But when we can't be there, it's comforting to know Manchester Presbyterian Lodge is nearby. The homey atmosphere and design is perfect for recuperative and long-term care. The nursing staff are true professionals, offering excellent individual attention and care. Add to that a physical therapy team to work diligently with their patients for optimum mobility and strength. Manchester Presbyterian Lodge, providing personal, intermediate, and skilled nursing care. A unique place like home.
It was over in a moment, but the pain lasts forever. President Clinton stood up and helped pass the Brady Bill. It wasn't about politics. The president had the integrity to do what was right. When I hear people question the president's character, I say, look what he's done. Look at the lives the Brady Bill will save.
The weather may feel like fall, but inside Value City Furniture, it's $98 for a computer desk with rollaway printer stand. Only $98 for this exquisite wrought iron bed. $98 for this modern black finish entertainment center. And just $98 for a two-way recliner. There's only one place to get savings this hot. Value City Furniture's 3-day sale. Oh, and just for stopping in, pick up a halogen floor lamp for only $9.88. See you here.
Welcome back here to halftime at Gus Anderson Field. I'm Gary Rapcho, and the gang to my right. First of all, we're very smart because we're not down on the field. We're up here in the press box where it's nice and warm. Kate Bernardo of the Cathedral Prep Drama Club. And I understand from the inside sources at Cathedral Prep that you're being given credit for kind of revitalizing this whole drama club. Kate, congratulations, and tell me a little bit about yourself and about your program.
Well, I'm an Erie native, and I came back to Erie about 3 years ago. I was hired by Cathedral Prep, and when I came in, I was hired because there wasn't really a drama program. It had been on and off for a few years, and when I was hired, I was brought in primarily to bring the drama program back to life. And in the past 2 and a little bit of a year, we've done 8 or 9 productions, and
Fabulous.
we're in our fall production now.
Yeah, now when you talk about a drama club, what does that all entail?
We, in a school year, we do 2 main stage productions, 2 full-blown productions. We do a 1-act competition, and in the spring this year we're doing a series of student-directed scenes in 1 act.
Yeah, let's introduce some of your students here. Why don't you tell me your name?
Mike Leon.
Nick LaFata. Tom Walker.
All right, and how did you guys become involved in the drama club? Is this just something that were you recruited, or is it something you've always had an opportunity or a wish to do, I guess?
For me, it's always been a wish for something for me to do, but I just kind of tried out this year. Tried to get involved.
Yeah. You guys having a good time doing it, though?
Oh yeah, it's great. I mean, it's something different, you know.
Move this way a little bit. Yeah, we got him.
It's like, we encourage other students, get some culture in the school, I mean, there's something besides football, basketball, and the sports,
And what kind of productions have you been involved in? What kind of things do you do in the drama club?
Well, last year I was an actor, and this year I'm trying tech. I'm on the lighting crew for the current production that's going on.
Do you like to get all of your students involved in different facets? I mean, as he just said, acting to lighting. Do some people kind of get a taste of everything in the drama club?
I try to get everybody involved wherever they want to, but I'd like to have everyone who comes into the program do a little bit of acting and a little bit of the technical work as well.
What do you have coming up next?
Rehearsal for Murder. It's a murder mystery in the classic style. It opens tomorrow night at 8 o'clock in our auditorium, and it runs tomorrow night and Sunday afternoon at 3.
All right, well, congratulations on an outstanding program, revitalized by Kate Bernardo, and revitalized really by the students, because they have a lot to do with getting the whole thing started.
Oh yeah,
right?
I couldn't do it without the kids.
All right, well, congratulations and good luck in the future.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back with more of our halftime activities. It's a 7-0 lead for the Cathedral, or for the McDowell Trojans. I'm standing by a bunch of Cathedral Prep people. They're forcing me to say that. McDowell 7, Cathedral Prep nothing. We'll be right back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Why are more Americans driving the new Ford Taurus?
More room. I traded up to Taurus from Lumina.
Safety. Taurus has dual airbags, safety cell construction, and the highest frontal crash test rating.
The looks alone hooked me. The ride and the power sold me.
Taurus is the best-selling car in America.
And now get $2,000 cash back or 1.9 financing on Taurus.
Oh, did I mention the $2,000 cash back or 1.9% financing?
So why should you drive a Ford Taurus?
Because there's more to afford.
If you've never been to John V. Schultz Furniture, now's your opportunity to see just why we sell more furniture than anyone else. I'm Jack Schultz. It's our Bid for New Customers sale, and it's simple. Just open up a John V. charge and we'll give you 15% off any purchase on the spot. Stop in and let us make your life a little more comfortable at John V. Schultz Furniture, where we make quality furniture affordable.
For all your home furnishing needs, come in and see John V.
Can you identify who it was that frightened you, ma'am?
I'll try.
This Halloween, terrifying creatures are on the loose at Taco Bell. Wanted Goosebumps at Taco Bell. Slappy's Candy Keeper, Cuddles the Horrible Hamster, Rappin' Mummy, and Skullmobile. Get them now. Goosebumps collectibles only at Taco Bell.
When it comes to dealing with snow, nothing beats a Meyer snowplow from Forest Park Garage. Available in several sizes, a Meyer snowplow can handle any job. Meyer snowplows are easy to operate and built to last. See Forest Park Garage today and check out the Meyer Quick Lift, a lightning-fast electro-tough snowplow control system that saves time and electricity. Make the most of your four-wheel drive, put a Meyer snowplow up front. Nothing beats a Meyer snowplow from Forest Park Garage, 3339 Westlake Road.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jim LaCorchik. Halftime of the McDowell prep game. McDowell leads at 7-0. First downs, the Trojans 8-3. Yards rushing, 86-52. Yards passing, 81-8. Those 81 yards, though, came early on. Total yards, 167-60 in favor of the Trojans. No turnovers. Time of possession, 12:29 for McDowell. 11:31 for the Ramblers. Gary, a good first half of football, though.
Yes, it was. Despite the weather conditions, there really wasn't a lot of sloppy play. A few mishandled snaps from center, which is understandable, but really Cathedral Prep's initial decision to give the ball first to McDowell. McDowell taking it down the field on 4 plays, and in these rainy and wet conditions as we see at Gus Anderson, that first score when the field was at its best on the very first possession of the game seemed to play into McDowell's hands. They came out throwing, and it cost Cathedral Prep.
Gary, we talked about Caldwell maybe being a big force for the Trojans. He's 4 of 7 passing for 81 yards, 7 rush, and 31, 112 all-purpose yards.
7-0 McDowell at halftime. By the way, I want to thank the people at Taco Bell who once again have provided dinner for the crew here, especially the 12th and Peninsula Taco Bell. They're the ones who made the tacos for us tonight, the burritos, the tacos, the 12th and Peninsula Taco Bell. Thank you very much, because as always, they were absolutely delicious. Right,
tremendous,
Jim?
just tremendous.
We'll be back with the second half kickoff in just a moment. Stay with us.
By day, Phaedra Catchings is a proposal leader in marketing for GE. But after hours, she enjoys community involvement, especially with children.
I like to volunteer with kids primarily, and it can be anywhere from the arts festival, doing face painting, or actually going out to the schools and helping with tutorial sessions. Just makes me feel happy inside.
Phaedra Catchings, a positive role model for children and a source of pride for GE.
Service and convenience. Nobody hammers at home like Value Home Centers during Super Value Days. Dust and mold are invading your airspace. Ordinary filters can't stop them. You need the protection of a 3M Filtrete 600 filter, hammered down to just $6.99.
Save on heating bills with 3M window kits, the only kit with guaranteed 3M tape. The large kit covers 5 3x5 windows. Choose interior or exterior, just $9.88.
Always convenient. Value Home Centers, where we hammer the lowest advertised prices guaranteed.
Campaign 96. You've seen all the ads. Now it's time to choose. Make an informed choice. Watch 35 WSEE as we bring you 2 televised debates in 2 hot races. For State Senate in the 49th District, incumbent Buzz Andrzejewski debates Jane Earl on October 26th at 7:30. And watch incumbent Bill English debate Ron V. Nicola for the 21st District seat in the U.S. House of Representatives on November 2nd at 7:30. Watch, vote, and see your vote count on Newswatch 35, the news leader.
Hammett Sports Medicine presents Training Room Tips.
Want to improve your athletic performance? Make stretching a part of your training routine. Hold precise static positions for a minimum of 15 seconds. Be sure not to bounce. Regular stretching will enhance the elasticity of muscles and tendons. You'll increase flexibility and decrease muscle strains and injuries. I'm Pete Grimaldi for Hammett Sports Medicine.
The Halftime Report is sponsored by the Northwest Pennsylvania Technical Institute at PA Community College, the other choice for a college education. We give college credit for hands-on skills.
Oh, some of the faithful here at Gus Anderson Field still being faithful, as that's the Cathedral Prep side, and they're hoping that they can see their Ramblers come back here in the second half. Ramblers will get the ball first here in the second half, Jim, and what's the key, obviously, to Cathedral Prep coming back here in the second half? They seem to have been playing well defensively, keeping McDowell in check, but offensively they have to get some things going.
Yeah, Gary, I think field position. They don't have to score right away, but they got to take control of field position. McDowell has shown they can move the ball running and passing. Prep had a good drive. They made one crucial error. It happened several times to them a game. They had a holding penalty that nullified a 1st and 10 on the McDowell 20-yard line. So they've got to overcome these mistakes. They've got to complete a couple passes, or at least get a couple guys open to loosen up those McDowell linebackers, or they'll never run the ball.
As we saw in the first half statistics, only 8 yards passing for Cathedral Prep. And as a matter of fact, throughout this season, they're averaging only 78 yards per game throwing the football. So John Birchtold, as you see in the center of your screen, completing his first year as head coach. If he can come back and win this game, they've got Central a week from Saturday right here at Gus Anderson Field. He would have an opportunity to win the 2 Metro games in the Quad A bracket and move on as the #1 representative out of the Metro League in the District 10 playoffs.
Prep's going to have to throw for 70 yards this half if they're going to hit their average.
Jeff Heil has the ball teed up at the 40. Found a dry spot on the near hash marks here. Doesn't want to do it from the mud in the middle of the field and drives it towards Chris Loomis, who gathers it in at the 10. He's at the 15, the 20. Turns to the outside, cuts it back inside and then is gang tackled there as he gets to the 32-yard line. So relatively good field position for the Ramblers, who take over 1st and 10 to start the second half.
Nice kick return by Loomis, the senior running back for Prep, and that's what they have to do. As I said, they're not under extreme pressure to score right away, but they don't have big play capability, so they have to assume control of field position.
Yeah, the closest a big play has developed in the Cathedral Prep offense has been Matt Duramo running it into the secondary about 15 or 20 yards and almost breaking it a couple of times. He is behind Tony Bowers, and that's Van Valkenburg, number 41, in motion. Jim Gemler, the quarterback, hands it to Duramo, and he is smacked. Number 24 from McDowell, Nick Mihal, filling the hole nicely, and number 24 getting a pat on the head from Ryan Irvin, his defensive captain, for good play. Only a gain of a yard to the 31.
Gary, I really thought Prep would a little play action here and come out throwing. There's 3 guys on Duramo. They're not going to move the ball at all at that rate. They've got to loosen up those McDowell linebackers. That's only common sense.
You see Brian Caldwell, and if you're just joining us, you think that Brian Caldwell is on offense. He's a great defensive end, and in fact, Ron Ruler has expressed a number of times during the season that he hopes he isn't started to be recruited as a defensive player and as a quarterback. Him lifting weights, he's about 6'3", 6'4", 220. Has a new jersey on, too, as you can see, to start the second half. Here comes Duramo picking his way through the middle of the defense, and there's Brian Caldwell coming up off the bottom of the pile with the tackle. Gets it to the 36-yard line for a gain of 5, but most importantly, it is 3rd and 5 now for the Ramblers at their own 36-yard line.
This is what the McDowell defense wants Prep in, those consistent 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8s. The Ramblers, other than that little quick pass to the tight end for 8 yards and a first down in the first half, they haven't shown a lot of capability of getting first downs.
McDowell has outscored its opponents 200-63 coming into this game. Although the most productive quarter for opponents has been the 3rd and 4th quarters, the 4th quarter being most productive. So teams have been able to score in the second half. 3rd and 5, and Duramo, instead of trying to beat the pursuit to the outside, turns it back inside, and there is Ryan Irvin, number 4, leading the surge to make the stop for McDowell.
All right, the Prep offense unable to get any running room. The McDowell defense answering the challenge. And you can see, Gary, as you alluded to, Duramo may have had a shot outside. He thought, well, number 1's right there. I probably won't get around him. I better try and cut it up, and came up 4 yards short.
Yeah, that number 1 was Travis Bricker. He is taking the place of Pat Mifsud tonight. Mifsud hurt in a shop accident. Had some stitches in his arm. Was unable to play tonight. And Bricker taking his place. The punt, end over end. Not a good one. Hits at the 45, bounces inside the 40, and then the wet turf will roll it dead at the 36-yard line. So with 9.5 remaining here in the 3rd quarter, McDowell will get their hands on the football for the first time in the second half, and they lead it by a score of 7-0. So the Trojans, who really struck quickly on their first possession of this game, had a couple of running plays, and then bang, a long pass to Jamie Respecti. Next play, bang, a 22-yard pass to Respecti in the end zone for the touchdown, and that have been the only points of the game so far.
We'll have to see if they go back to that wide-open offense that they started the game with, Gary. Certainly wouldn't hurt them.
Split backs, they are Greiger and Laban Marsh. And a play-action fake by Caldwell. He'll roll to his left, has good protection, throws to the sideline, has a man, Aaron Slocum, and Slocum is bounced out of bounds on the far side of the field at the 46-yard line. So Caldwell on first down, as you wanted Cathedral Prep to do on their first possession, come out throwing.
There's 2 things, Gary. Caldwell has all the time in the world. Look, there's not a black jersey near him, and there's not a black jersey near Slocum. You're in pretty good shape when you can throw like that. Little play action, rolls left, good pass protection, and there's Slocum wide open, and McDowell doing a much better job of protecting Caldwell this evening.
Loomis and Eric Hinkler double-teamed on the tackle to knock Slocum out of bounds, but not before he moves the sticks to the 46-yard line. And another play-action fake by Caldwell. Rolling to his right. Throwing. Has a man. It's Slocum. He pulls it in. Has a first down inside the 30. And it takes 6 Cathedral Prep Ramblers to knock him down at the 29-yard line. But back-to-back Caldwell throws. One to his left. One to his right. And it's another first down for the Trojans.
Same pattern. They ran to the left side. They ran to the right side. Same result. Slocum wide open. Caldwell is now 6 for 9. Again, here he rolls right this time. No pressure. Hits Slocum with a bullet wide open.
So McDowell on the move. 8 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. McDowell with a 7-0 lead. High formation now behind Caldwell, setting his offensive line, takes the snap, slow developing. Marsh has it, has a hole off the left side. He's at the 25, he's at the 20, puts his head down and gets to the 16-yard line. And that should be enough for another McDowell first down. So on 3 consecutive plays, the Trojans have been able to pick up 3 consecutive first downs, and now Cathedral Prep defensively wants to call a timeout to talk some things over. They want to make some adjustments here before McDowell sticks it in the end zone. 7-0 in favor of the Trojans. We'll be right back.
Can you identify who it was that frightened you, ma'am?
I'll try.
This Halloween, terrifying creatures are on the loose at Taco Bell. Wanted Goosebumps at Taco Bell. Slappy's Candy Keeper, Cuddles the Horrible Hamster, Rappin' Mummy, and Skullmobile. Get 'em now. Goosebumps collectibles only at Taco Bell.
When I need to make home repairs, I like to go to someone I can trust. Don Smith True Value Hardware has the right tool for the job, or he can do the job for me. Don Smith True Value Hardware, he's there when you need him most.
For cut glass or plexiglass, screen and window repairs, plumbing supplies and pipe cutting, lamp repairs, marine supplies, key duplication, and locksmithing.
Take it from me, when it comes to tree service, see Don Smith True Value Hardware, 3406 Westlake Road.
Gary, this is such a slow developing play. It looked like there was procedure. Everybody's standing around. Laban Marsh just running to the open area, picking up good yardage.
Back to live action with McDowell on the 17-yard line on the move, 1st and 10. 3 consecutive plays, 3 consecutive first downs. Slocum comes in motion, and here comes Rob Greiger. Greiger hit at the line of scrimmage by Mike Zona. Has his forward progress, moves him close to the 15-yard line for maybe a gain of 2. Zona. And number 21 for McDowell is Juwan Bowman making the stop on the play. Or check that, number 21 for Cathedral Prep, J. Todd Dupree. 6'6" McLean and Corey at the half. That's a big one in terms of the AAA spot in the ECL. The AA spot, no doubt, will go to Northwestern, who will be the ECL champions. 2nd down and 7. Greiger got 3 tough yards on that last play. And Caldwell on the option play, running to his right, now turns it back upfield, bounces off a tackle, still on his feet, and scores! That was all Brian Caldwell as he broke a tackle and then did an amazing job, Jim LaCourchick, of keeping his balance and not getting to the ground.
As we said before the game, look for Brian Caldwell to come up big running and throwing on an evening like this, and this is Brian Caldwell's night. This is the 4th McDowell Prep McDowell game he's been in. Nobody wrapped him up, and there's that strength and balance.
Oh, my.
I mean, he's just a great all-around athlete. Here's another angle. Boom, he's hit head-on, hit again, breaks 3 tackles, almost goes down on the 7, gets his balance, and fights his way in the end zone as Heil boots it through.
Jeff Heil with the extra point, and with 7:47 left in the 3rd quarter, McDowell has opened up a 14-0 lead.
There are no rest stops in life. Great moments fly by a million miles an hour. But that's okay, because with its more powerful engine and refined suspension, new Camry owners are in for one smooth, comfortable ride. The new Camry, smoother, more powerful, better than ever.
Here at last and worth the wait. The all-new Mega Brands at Arthur F. Schultz. Mega Brands, Arthur's new state-of-the-art major appliance and television department, celebrates a grand opening this weekend. Grand opening prices plus no down payment, monthly payments, or interest charges for 1 full year on all home furnishings and 6 months on appliances and electronics.
Arthur F. Schultz now has more brand-name appliances, televisions, and electronics, and low prices.
Just east of I-79 Route 20 Erie. Arthur F. Schultz has it.
So Brian Caldwell, literally on his own, with some help from his friends, has made it a 14-0 lead here in the 3rd quarter. The extra point, by the way, during the extra point, I should say, there was a penalty assessed against McDowell, or called against McDowell. And so instead of kicking off from the 35, they'll have to kick off from the 25-yard line following their 2nd touchdown. But what a great effort by Caldwell to run it in from 14 yards out, Jim.
Sensational effort. He just gets bigger and stronger defensively, running the ball every game. Obviously dead ball foul. Otherwise, they'd be kicking again. So it had to be after the play was blown dead.
So Jeff Heil will tee it up, and if you're McDowell, you have to feel good now because defensively they have averaged only giving up 9 points per game, and here they have a 14-0 lead. Here comes Chris Loomis, and a nice return off the kickoff, gets it out to the 42-yard line. So the Ramblers have their work cut out for them. 7:40 remaining here in the third quarter. They've got lots of time to do it, but they need to put something on the board very quickly here as they trail McDowell 14-0.
Right, they only had 3 first downs in the first half, so they haven't shown the ability to move the ball consistently. Down 14-0, their backs are to the wall.
McDowell has thrown 4 shutouts at their opponents in 7 games this year, and as I mentioned, the average of giving up only 9 points a game. So defensively, they have to be ranked as one of the better in the state. Gembler with a long count. Here's the option play. He'll pitch it back to DeRamo, trying to get him loose. And DeRamo was able to shake off a couple of tackles and get it upfield to the 45-yard line for a gain of about 3. We'll call it 2nd down and 7 from there.
Talking about state rankings and state play, the Harrisburg Patriot News totally dissed Erie this last couple of weeks.
What is up with that?
You can see the option right here. DeRamo picks up a few yards on his own. But 2 weeks ago, McDowell's 5th in the state. They beat Central. They beat State College. They went from 5th to 10th to also Rans. And I called down there. And we'll go expound on that, Gary.
Absolutely. I'd love to hear what they had to say. 2nd down and 7, just short of the 45. Here's DeRamo, and he bursts into the secondary, has a first down across the 45 and down to the 42 of McDowell. But what did Harrisburg have to say about that?
I thought Ron Christ, Mr. High School Sports, and that's not being facetious. The man's tremendous.
Absolutely,
guy.
a legend.
He knew nothing about it. He's into Penn State. You can see DeRamo on a little counter play right here, getting a great hole behind the right side of the prep line. Again, you can see the good blocking. He told me I got to get in touch with Rod Frisco, who does those. And so I ended up talking Penn State football, of course, which was near and dear to your heart.
1st and 10 at the 43-yard line. I formation as Cathedral Prep tries to get something going. Here's Bauer straight ahead, has some running room inside the 35, and close to another first down at the 34-yard line. It'll depend on the mark of the football. John Cashone wants to call a timeout here, and will. He wants to talk to his McDowell defense.
Straight up the middle is Prep right now having their way.
They had a drive like this going in the first half, and then a holding penalty caused the drive to stall, and eventually they had to punt near midfield. And time to tell you about the Gator. And there it is. It's the Gator, and it's the vehicle which our field camera is riding on, provided by none other than Brown's Equipment, Westlaw Road, Northeast, your John Deere headquarters. Nothing runs like a Deere. We can't tell you how fabulous our sponsors have been to us on the Game of the Week, like Taco Bell, Brown's Equipment here with the Gator. They bring the Gator here. Jeff Mott drives it despite the fact that he doesn't have a license.
Nice.
So they haven't given it back to him yet.
Gators are #1 in the country.
Absolutely. And nothing runs like a Deer. And we thank them for that. All right, 14-0 McDowell. But going back, Prep had a drive going. Remember, they would have had a 1st and 10 at the 20, and then a holding penalty knocked them way back, and they ended up having to punt. But they got that same thing going here. They're moving some people out, and they need to do it right now. 6:13 remaining here in the third quarter. Here's Bowers. Shakes off a tackle right at the line of scrimmage and then barrels forward. It was 2nd down about 2, and Bowers appears to get enough yardage for the first down as they'll mark it.
There's no relenting in this rain, is there?
No, there isn't. It's just slowed up a little bit, but then it starts pounding at us again. The field conditions very muddy in the center of the field, especially between the 20 and midfield on this side, where you're looking at right now, right smack dab in the middle of your screen.
Gary, did you hear anything on the turf situation at the stadium? I know they're not on a deadline, which I don't blame them.
Right.
Don't pin themselves in.
But what has happened apparently, Jim, is that there is, according to the installer, a guaranteed 30-day date from the time they put a certain substance down. They've appeared to have put that rubber mat
on half of it.
Right, and as soon as they get that rubber mat down completely, it is 30 days from that point.
Somebody said to me, "Why are they blacktopping the stadium?" And I said, "I don't think it's blacktop."
No. So 30 days from now would be obviously November the, what is it, 16th?
Yeah, 18th.
18th? So maybe some late playoff games if someone like McDowell or Prep goes into the Western semifinals or finals. 3rd and inches, and you see the quarterback keeper by Gemler as he attempts to pick up those inches and move the sticks. And it will depend on the spot of the football as referee Dave Wiley stops the clock with 5:44 left in the 3rd quarter.
He's got it, Gary. He's got it. I mean, he went forward.
Yeah, Dave Wiley is going to call the chains out again. Which I agree with you. From this angle, it looks like he has it clearly. And we're both right.
Yeah.
Length of the football.
No problem, Gary.
No problem there. First down. Could have saved him some time.
I was at a game earlier this year, a high school game, and the official marked 3rd and 1, and the coach was begging for a measurement, and the ref come over. He said, "Listen, it's this far." But well, he finally talked him into a measurement. He had the first down. I told the ref, "I don't ever want you lining up my putts."
1st and 10 for the Ramblers. 5.5 minutes to go on the march. Trying to cut into a 14-0 McDowell lead in the rain. DeRamo.
McDowell just totally disregarding the pass, Gary.
They have nobody on Gemler that time. If Gemler would have a play-action fake off of that little sprint-out draw to DeRamo, he'd have plenty of time to throw. But they're strictly looking for those off-tackle plays. And after a gain of about a half a yard or so, it'll be 2nd down and 9.
I don't want to look
just at the 33.
I don't want to look ahead, but looking ahead, the Prep Central game. That's Central on fire right now.
Central with a nice win last night, coming from a 13-7 deficit at halftime to beat Hollidaysburg of the Allegheny Conference 14-13. Van Valkenburg in motion. Here's DeRamo pitching it on the option play. DeRamo dropped it and then fell on it and loses a couple of yards back to the 34-yard line. The pitch appeared to be there, maybe just the sloppiness of the night in the football taking its toll on that play as we've seen it happen throughout the night.
I don't think it'll matter, Gary. You see they had it pretty well defense. There's Greiger on the quarterback, and there's the cornerback coming up on DeRamo if he had caught the ball. May have cost him a yard or two. But now here's where Prep has to throw, and that's not a good situation for a team that doesn't throw the ball much.
3rd down, we'll call it 10 at the 33.
Trips left, remaining. Gary. They like to go deep off this.
Single set back is Bowers. Gemler in the rain, back to throw. Under some pressure, throws, batted into the air, and back incomplete. A flag was thrown as the play developed, so we'll check out the flag. That was 3rd and 10, but Gemler in trying to throw it down the middle. I don't know if it was Brian Caldwell or number 57, Jason Elwell, that got his hands up and batted that football about 10 yards behind Gemler.
I think Caldwell had the initial pressure. I think Elwell came in for the stuff right there.
There it is, right?
Came in from his linebacker position.
Yeah, number 57, the grandson of Bud Elwell, the longtime athletic director at Gannon.
Illegal formation
5'10",
on the offense
225-pound senior.
Has been declined. 4th down.
And you saw the call by Dave Wiley of illegal procedure. Declined following the incomplete pass. And as the rain continues to pelt down, it's 4th down for Cathedral Prep and down 14-0 with just under 4 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter. The Ramblers have got to be thinking about going for it.
Yeah, they'll go for it, Gary. And if I'm McDowell, I just send everybody. Teams that don't pass much just have terrible times picking up the blitz. They don't hit the hot receivers. I just shoot everybody. I don't give them time to pass.
Yeah, Prep had only 8 yards passing in the first half. 4th and 10. Gemler to throw. Looking. Has the time. Flings it down the middle. Incomplete. Nobody there. A couple of players tied up. Downfield, Van Valkenburg is 41. He may have been the intended receiver, but the way the pass was thrown and the play developed, you really can't be sure. McDowell will take over on downs, though. 1st and 10 at their own 34 with 3:48 to go.
Somebody ran the wrong pattern that time. 2 receivers in the same area brought about 9 defenders there, and somebody forgot to go deep.
He threw it a good ways downfield, about 25 or 30 yards, which is an accomplishment in this bad weather. Tonight after the game, you will see Nash Bridges at 11, the Newswatch Night Beat. We'll be along on Sports Watch at 11:20 to recap this game and all the County League action, and the Late Show with David Letterman at 11:35. 1st and 10, McDowell, 34-yard line, 3:45 remaining. Here's a little inside handoff to Slocum. And this time the Ramblers have that smelled out, and they drop him for maybe a loss of a yard back to the 33-yard line.
Prep Athletic Director Ron Surt's coming in with the exact attendance. 2,011 hearty souls. So probably 3,500, 4,000 people
Absolutely.
More would have been here.
Yes.
Home listening to you, Gary, doing a sensational job, I might add.
As well as you, Jim.
Oh, quit it. All right, go ahead.
I'm sure they turn me down when you're talking. Second down, 10 yards to go. Caldwell rolling right, throwing. Now wants to run. 35, and is hit initially and down at the 37-yard line. For the Ramblers, Phil Auditory, who makes the stop on the play. He was the first one to hit Caldwell, got some help from teammates. And as the rain continues to pelt down, it will be 3rd and about 4 for the Trojans.
This was supposed to be a pass, but good coverage by the Prep secondary, and Caldwell, being the tough runner that he is, turning it upfield for about 4 yards. Right now, Ron Ruler, he's just real happy to run the clock and rely on his defense.
And in order to sit on it even further here, he'll have to pick up the 5 yards needed for the first down. It's 3rd and 5 at the 37. Slocum goes in motion to the top of your screen. Caldwell comes out of the pocket heavy, looks to set up the screen. They get it to Marsh, flag down on the secondary, and Marsh breaks a tackle and dives for the first down marker and gets it at the 45-yard line. But deep in the secondary came the flag, and let's check out and see if it is against someone for McDowell downfield, maybe someone from Cathedral Prep holding in the secondary. We'll check out the flag. If it's against Cathedral Prep, McDowell has a first down.
What a terrible job by Prep of tackling. I mean, Marsh was surrounded, covered, and everything else, and broke it for a first down, basically. But I think it will be called back for an ineligible receiver downfield.
Dave Wiley with some mud on the pants.
No.
There is no
flag,
foul.
they say. No flag.
The forward pass never crossed the line of scrimmage.
Said he never crossed the line of scrimmage.
Never crossed the
so
line
a
of scrimmage.
horrendous job by Prep. Right here, Caldwell, a little touch pass, gets it to Marsh. Here's Marsh breaking 2 tackles right there. There's tackle number 3 and 4.
Apparently they thought that number 67, Ryan Capoletti, was downfield inelibly on the screenplay, but after a further review, or further discussion, I should say, they decided that was not the case. He was simply setting up the screen. So a good play by Marsh, as Jim Lekorchik alluded to it. It's 1st and 10 with under 2 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. So a new set of downs to work with, and Rob Greiger doing the grinding as he bulls his way close to midfield, and a solid 5-yard gain for the Trojans.
Gary, this has been the downfall for Prep all year from the end of the 3rd quarter on. They just get tired, they get beaten up. They've been playing teams that are bigger and physically stronger, and they're doing it again tonight. They banged heads with Walsh Jesuit and Glenn Mills, and here's Greiger just straight ahead, power football, dragging tacklers with him. And John Berchtold has had to watch this many, many times this season.
From midfield as the rain continues to pour, but McDowell is in control with a 14-0 lead and trying to add to it. Here comes the pitch to Laban Marsh looking for a hole across midfield. First down, Trojans inside the 45. Still on his feet, breaking loose, and down he goes finally at the 36-yard line. I don't know whether Cathedral Prep thought they had him stopped and the whistle was going to blow to stop his forward progress, but he kept on grinding away, Jim, and I got him about 5 or 10 extra yards out
They
of
had
it.
5 guys going for the ball, nobody going for the legs. You'll see right here, everybody's trying to get Marsh to cough the ball up, but nobody wrapped their arms around his legs. All the arms are around the ball, Gary. There it is. Ball, 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 breakaway. Finally, Laban Marsh goes down.
The 5'11", 170-pound senior with a nice run. 1st and 10, 36-yard line. 50 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter as Marsh again up over the left side this time, gets it to the 45-yard line. One thing Marsh has done is take some of the pressure coming into this season off of Brian Caldwell. So much was expected of Caldwell to maybe do too much. And had Laban Marsh not emerged early in the season as a scorer, as someone who could give you 100-yard games and 2 or 3 touchdowns a game, maybe too much pressure would have been on Caldwell. Maybe he would have tried to do too much. But it certainly has offset some of that and made McDowell a pretty balanced team offensively. From the 35, 2nd down 9, down to 15 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter. This more than likely will be the final play. Greiger in motion, and Caldwell, maybe a busted play, maybe a little quarterback draw, but drives it forward down close to the 30. Still about 3, maybe 4 yards short of that first down as the final seconds tick off, and that is the end of the 3rd quarter. McDowell in control. They have the football. They're on the move, and they have the lead. The Trojans trying to go 8-0 and lead 14-0 at the end of the 3rd quarter. We'll be right back.
Erie
Erie Sports Store's Team Jacket sale is now in progress. Buy now and save 20% on all licensed team jackets from Starter, Pro Player, and Reebok. Choose from nearly 1,000 jackets in all the hottest teams. You won't find a larger selection of team jackets at greater savings than at the Erie Sports Stores. Score big now during the Erie Sports Stores Team Jacket sale. Going on now. Erie Sports Stores, we do it right.
Erie Sports Stores, we do it right.
Early on, probably the most important thing that a mom can do is to choose her practitioner and start her course of prenatal care. There's just no two ways about that.
Whether that caregiver is the physician or whether the caregiver is a certified midwife.
The options are there. They're good. It's important. Women should have good experiences.
Well, welcome back here to McDowell's Gus Anderson Field, where it's 14-0, and it looks like the rain has done something to our cameramen. Not the cameras, the cameramen. Hope you had a chance to see that Brad Orlando piece at halftime. Brad doing well. Made the baseball team down at Penn State as a walk-on after being told he could no longer play football because of the neck injury. Here's Caldwell back to throw, flips it out, and Greiger nearly holds on to it. It was bobbling it along until number 1, Rob Joyce, nailed him and caused the ball to be bobbled out of his hands incomplete. But it's 2nd down and 10.
You can see Greiger on this 3rd and 4 situation. Would have had the first down, almost came up with it, and Joyce got there just in time.
I said 2nd down and 10. That was a 3rd and 5 play, so now it is 4th and 5. And in the first minute of play here in the 4th quarter, McDowell will go for it. And why not? They can chance it. They lead 14-0. Their defense has been nearly smothering of Cathedral Prep's offense.
I just rolled Caldwell out right there.
And he's rolling and going for the first down marker, diving. Let's see where they mark it. He did try to extend the football out towards the stick and get the necessary maybe last yard or so as he was being tackled. But it doesn't appear that he got it, and if so, Cathedral Prep will take over on the down of possession. Let's take a look at it again.
You can see Caldwell looking. He had the options, gets the corner, tried to get the ball. His knee hit way short, I believe, Gary.
He's about a yard short, so Brian will suck it up and get ready to play some defense here, as he has done so. What a tough kid he is, and of course he had a major role in that great McDowell basketball team last year. He was a good 6th man coming off the bench for Pete Flynn.
Super athlete. Now, you know, I'm wondering now, what are college scouts looking at him for? Defense, quarterback? You know, what's he prefer?
We talked about the fact that he may have had too much pressure on him at the beginning and thought about doing too much, which didn't happen. In fact, his stats, he tells us, are better than they were at this time a year ago. He has more touchdown passes, less interceptions than he did a year ago at this time. 1st and 10, Cathedral Prep as they take over on downs at the 27-yard line. They give the ball to the fullback, Tony Bowers, and the big little fire plug rumbles his way to the 30.
Tony Bowers, one of my favorite players.
Yes, indeed.
A very strong, you know, as I said last year when he's a sophomore, been lifting weights for many, many years. His dad, a sergeant, I believe, on the Erie Police Department. Chuck Bowers played at Academy.
Now remember, if McDowell should hang on to this 14-point lead, they are the Metro League Quad A champs. They would then qualify tonight with this win for the District 10 Quad A playoffs, of which we do not know the exact format yet, but at least we know that McDowell would be involved. Here's DeRamo. Nice pick as he read his blocks well, skipped inside and up over the 35, out to the 36-yard line. But we do know if McDowell wins this game, they would be the Metro League champions again.
If they win, they'll probably drop out of forever in the polls. If they lose, maybe they'll move up. I don't understand that Harrisburg Patriot News.
Well, the thing that bothered me the most about that poll is that the team who moved up, and I forget who it is at this point, was a Whippeal team and had a loss.
Upper St. Clair?
And had one loss. I believe it is Jim Bender's Upper St. Clair club down there. One loss, and they moved up to number 10. They had not been ranked, and a team, McDowell, undefeated and won, moved down. So you figure it out. 3rd down and 2. Here's DeRamo, and he's not going to get it. They stack him up and throw him back. And Rob Greiger, or check that, number 24 for McDowell, Nick Mehall playing a whale of a game defensively. Well, they give him his forward progress, and they say it is a first down.
No. Wow.
They did.
Let's
Here
take
it
a
is
look
again.
at this. There's DeRamo.
I can't believe that. And I really can't believe it. Looking at the replay, it looks like he actually lost a yard on the play. But they say it's a first down, and referee Dave Wiley will
I don't understand that.
And give Cathedral Prep a new set of downs to work with.
I also don't understand Prep trying not to score. Time is they are down 14.
They need 2 scores, and they only have 9 minutes and 20 seconds to get them. Play action fake Gemler under some pressure. Throws it downfield, incomplete, overthrew his intended receiver, and again, there were a couple of Ramblers in the spot. Volkenberg and Zona were both in the same spot that Gemler threw the football.
But the fullback Bowers came out clean. If he had let him, Bowers is wide open. But again, these pass routes, they've got 3 guys in the same area. Gemler fires it up, but Bowers is right here at the bottom of the screen all by himself, and I'm telling you, if he let him, he's open. But that's what happens when you don't throw much.
Third quarter stats here quickly, Jim.
All right, Gary, you can see that McDowell's leading 14-0. That's the key stat right there. Ramblers in the huddle a long time, I'll tell you that much. A long, long time. Of course, the clock stopped, but they can't afford to be giving up delay of game penalties either.
Second down 10 with 9:12 remaining. 37-yard line for the Ramblers. They're in their own territory. Gemler has the time, flings it, and it's nearly picked off. A flag is thrown late in the offensive backfield of Cathedral Prep. Number 20 for the Trojans, Ronaldo Batista, nearly stepped in front of the intended receiver and got the first down. It looks like the late flag in the offensive backfield of Prep usually and will indicate holding in this case.
Here's the killer for them, Gary. First of all, here's the pass play. Nobody really open as they run the same pattern before, and they got a crowd of receivers over here. That's from the spot of the foul. And in high school, that's a tough call from the spot of the foul. That's about a 16-yard penalty as it begins to rain harder.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. To make matters worse, you see the rain just pelting down on the players here. And we are truly involved in a quagmire here at Gus Anderson Field. This field has taken its extra games. As a matter of fact, there'll be 2 more games next week. There'll be a game Friday night. McDowell will end its regular season against Altoona here at home and try to win the Allegheny Conference. And the next Saturday night, these same Ramblers of Cathedral Prep will take on Central in what could be a very important game as far as one of them making the playoffs. Pitch to DeRamo on 2nd and 25. And DeRamo's only able to get a couple of yards downfield. Now we have the third quarter stats. Let's go to the videotape.
You'll see McDowell dominating first downs, 14-5, rushing 154-85, total yards passing 124-8, total yards 278-93. No turnovers, a credit to both teams. We're just about dead even time of possession. In matter of fact, in favor of Prep by 2 seconds.
And the Ramblers now with 3rd and 24. Clock is running, 8.5 minutes remaining. And really, you have to kind of get the ball up. I mean, the conditions are absolutely horrible right now for throwing the football. And as we alluded to at the beginning of the game, and it really didn't take a genius to figure this out, you score early in this game, and it definitely is in your favor. Gemler being chased from behind, throws it downfield and incomplete. Trying to hit number 28, Phil Auditore, near midfield, but the ball was short, and again it was Ronaldo Batista defending on the play in that very talented McDowell secondary.
Phil Auditore running all by himself down the middle of the field, but Gemler getting pressure right from the beginning right here. Tries to get it to Auditore, but Auditore was by himself early on.
Just couldn't get enough of oomph on it. So it's 4th and 24 now. The incomplete pass has stopped the clock with 8:09 remaining in the football game. It is 14-0 in favor of McDowell. They scored on each of their first possessions of the half. First possession of the game, they took it down the field on 4 plays and scored on a 22-yard Caldwell to Jamie Respecki touchdown pass. And then Caldwell with a tremendous 11-yard run to cap off a drive to start the second half, making it 14-0. It is rainy and it is chilly. As we wind down our Prep and McDowell game, we have one more game to go, and that is Central and Prep next weekend. And obviously, it looks like McDowell is going to win the Metro League unless a miracle happens here for Cathedral Prep. But that game could determine the second team out of the Metro Gym. But we're never quite sure because the District 10, for some reason, just doesn't bring out a format to let everybody know exactly what they're playing for at the end of the year, other than league championships.
Well, they let Meadville play in a AAA, AA league, and I think that hurts at the end of the season when you're trying to rate teams. Was I diplomatic there? Caught myself.
Pretty diplomatic.
Thank you very much. You know, this will be, if Prep doesn't score, that'll be 4, 8, 12 straight quarters they haven't scored. They only scored in overtime last year.
Right, and they were shut out by this score of 14-0 in the District 10 game on a Thursday snowy night at the stadium. Last game, I think, no, it wasn't the last game at the stadium. I think McDowell played another game later on.
Iroquois played there.
Game, right.
What do you got? Then there was a Western Final there. Farrell, maybe?
Yeah, maybe Sharon. Was Sharon in the Western Final, Western semifinals there last year?
Farrell played somebody at the stadium, too.
Right. But we hope that, as we alluded to earlier, there is a rubber mat or some sort of, let's listen to Dave Wiley first here and figure out what's going on.
Dead ball foul, encroachment on the defense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Still 4th down, so they'll be punting, but there's some sort of a procedure that's being done right now, the laying of a rubber mat or rubber covering, that once that is completely laid down, the installers guarantee 30 days from that point that they'll be able to play on the turf. So by mid-November, it could be ready to go for any late playoff games of any of our teams involved. Here's Laban Marsh dancing at midfield and goes down right there in the muck and the mud. And from there, the Trojans will take over 1st and 10 near midfield. They've got the advantage. The rain is pouring down. It doesn't seem to bother McDowell too much because they've got the 14-0 lead, Jim. They just want to grind out about 3 or 4 minutes off the clock right now and try to get in and get dry and put another Metro League championship in the books.
Solid performance, as you can see, Gary, the rain. Doesn't seem like it's raining. Do you feel wet? It's the second straight year that they talked about the rain, but it doesn't bother us at all.
It was exactly the same last year, except for one difference. This game was scoreless and went into double overtime before McDowell won. Here comes Rob Greiger, bounding through the middle, skipping and dancing and sliding in the mud down to the 42-yard line. He gained 8 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 2 from there.
Straight ahead football, Gary. We talked about it in the third quarter. This Prep defense is always asked to do so much by the end of the game. They're just exhausted. The Ramblers just don't have offense against a good defensive team.
Obviously, McDowell taking its time, getting up to the line of scrimmage.
I know
2 more yards.
They'd like to get one more in.
Sure. Leading 14-0, and Caldwell would like to get it himself. Has a 1st down, rolling to his right inside the 40. And most importantly, I think at this point for McDowell, stays inbounds to keep that clock rolling at the 36-yard line. Here's our Friday night headlines that we're watching. The Wildcats are going for a clinch as they are playing Girard down at Albion. And really, with the way the weather is, you never know what can happen on a night like tonight. The AAA showdown is in McLean, where Corey and McLean trying to get the first AAA playoff spot out of the Metro League, or check that, out of the County League, playing at McLean tonight. And then there's almost a sudden death playoff at LaBeouf. LaBeouf and Harbor Creek, outside chances. And if the winner of that game still has a shot, the loser more or less can expect to pack the equipment away after next week. Here comes Laban Marsh on 1st and 10. Marsh still driving forward, gets to the 29-yard line before Zona puts the hit on him. But it's another gain of 4 yards, maybe more, for the Trojan senior offensive back with 6:35 remaining in the game.
No turnovers by either team is an incredible performance. Here's Laban Marsh just driving straight ahead, running around end. Phil Auditory with help from Zona making the tackle. But McDowell right now just in total charge of the line of scrimmage, Gary. Not being able to throw the ball is just has a devastating effect on the Prep offense. McDowell with good balance.
Here comes Marsh up the middle, and Marsh gets to the 25-yard line, and that could be enough for another 1st down as the clock winds down to the 6-minute mark and halfway through this final period of play. Glad you could join us on a rainy autumn evening in the middle of October. As I mentioned, the Central Prep game is next Saturday night at 8 o'clock. Not next Friday night, but next Saturday night at 8 o'clock. And then the regular season will have been concluded. The District 10 championships will more than likely be held at various sites. Obviously, the stadium won't be ready to house them as they did all of last year. Caldwell wants to throw on first down, flips it out to the right, overthrows Greiger, who appeared to be slightly behind his defenders at the 15-yard line, but he couldn't hold on, and it stops the clock at 5:43 remaining. And the rain now is coming down as hard as it ever has.
Greiger was slightly behind the defenders. Slocum was way behind the defenders in the end zone waving.
Yeah, I think Respecki might have had the opportunity to catch his second touchdown of the game. He appeared to get free in the secondary, too. Heil warming up on the sidelines in case he maybe needed to boot a field goal here. 2nd down and 10 at the 25-yard line. Caldwell with a long count. Takes the snap. Throws it. Caught. Travis Bricker makes the catch. And near a first down marker as he pulls it in at the 17-yard line. Right away, Cathedral Prep is there to make the stop on the play. Number 2, Matt DeRamo, as Travis Bricker makes the catch on the little slant-in pattern from Caldwell.
There's Bricker. He's hurt and he's tackled, and I think Bricker's still down.
Yes, he
on
is,
the field. And, of course, he's replaced Pat Mifsud, the outstanding senior that was injured in arts and crafts class as he took some stitches trying to open up a jar. So I know that Pat Mifsud's father, Jerry Mifsud, as we talked about, the principal at Central, he's in the Prep Hall of Fame.
Right.
He's the Central principal, and he's the
his son starts
for McDowell. We have to call him Mr. Quad A football in this area.
Take a look at it again, Jim.
Bricker just look at a nice pattern cutting over the middle and grabbed his leg going down. He's all right, thank goodness.
Yeah, he's walking off under his own power, as you can see, and without a limp. He says, "Get me out of here. It's too muddy." So 1st and 10 for McDowell. Check that. They didn't get the first down. It's 3rd down about 2. He came within 2 yards short of the first down on the 17-yard line. McDowell has now had the ball on this possession for about 3 minutes as we get under 5:20. Late 4th quarter now. Corey with a 20-6 lead over McLean.
Wow.
So Corey bouncing back nicely after the very tough loss on its home turf to Northwestern a week ago. Here's Greiger trying to get the 2 yards on 3rd down and barrels straight ahead of the 15-yard line where I think he got the first down. I know statistician Steve Sensor, who is a teacher over at Corey, right? Secretly rooting for the Beavers.
Coming out of the closet tonight,
yes.
though. Full-blooded Beaver.
And wearing a Yankee hat in the meantime. Man,
Yeah,
it's never raining.
It's amazing what you can find laying around if you look.
Yeah, you see the rain.
Wow. Right when you thought it couldn't rain harder.
I'm just thankful that it's not snow.
Yeah, we wouldn't be leaving here tonight.
No, we've seen snow in early November. Maybe not this early in October, but
the thought of sharing a booth all night with you and Steve Sensor isn't the most appealing night I've ever had.
Here's Caldwell for the end zone. Incomplete. Flag is thrown. As you saw the facing penalty against the intended receiver, which was Laban Marsh. Caldwell threw it up. And number 1, Rob Joyce, or check that, Chris Loomis, number 11, appeared to simply put his hands up.
Good call. Never look back for the ball. That'll be half the distance. Should take it down to about the 7-8 yard line. Little play action, little pressure on Caldwell. Throws it up nice, and Loomis knew he was beaten. Did the right thing.
Here's Dave Wiley, who even has his pants a little muddy tonight.
Wow.
Pass interference on the defense. That's an automatic first down.
That's an automatic first down.
That's an automatic first down, says Dave Wiley, who was the crew that officiated the Youngstown Ursuline game here. Was that the crew?
No.
No, that wasn't the crew. You're right.
I wouldn't
Which
pin
crew
that
was
on
that?
him.
No.
I don't think he'd be up
I
here.
take that back.
There is one familiar name.
And apologize sincerely to Dave Wiley
yeah,
for
but
that.
the
Crew
the
took
other
a lot
four
of
are
heat.
innocent, I think.
Right, that crew took a lot of heat. I think the one familiar name threw me off there. Slocum is in motion. Haven't heard a lot from Aaron Slocum tonight. Offensively, they have used Laban Marsh, and it's been mostly Brian Caldwell, and early on, Jamie Respecki, the big tight end. Slocum slightly banged up as well, and maybe being used more as a decoy here in this game than anything else. Hope to get him back. But you talk about the month of October for McDowell and getting ready for the playoffs, Jim. They had a tough game with Central, had to go on the road and beat State College, and although State College is having a down year, it's always tough to win on the road. Now you've got a good effort here against Cathedral Prep. They come back and face Altoona, which will be ready to play them. Eddie Dalton's team always playing tough down there in Altoona. So it's been a good 4-game stretch for McDowell getting ready for the playoffs.
And this is the kind of game they need. They dominated their rival, and they're doing a good job.
And as Greiger gets the handoff and puts his head and shoulders into the pile, it's whistled dead by the officials. 3:51 remaining here, and you see the penalty will go against McDowell. It was first and goal at the 3. It'll be first and goal at the 8 now with 3:51 remaining. McDowell leading 14-0. They received the opening kickoff and drove nearly 70 yards on 4 plays. 60 some of those yards coming via the air from Caldwell to Jamie Respecki.
Replay the down.
Down to the 22-yard line, and then Respecki again caught the aerial on the very next play from Caldwell in the end zone for a touchdown. It stayed scoreless the rest of that first half. First drive for McDowell, then they got their hands on the football in the second half after holding Cathedral Prep. Caldwell capped it off with a nifty 11-yard touchdown run, which is a good bet that'll be our play of the game. Here's Caldwell on the option. Pitches it back to Marsh, pitched it behind him. Ball's on the ground, still loose. They're trying to grab it like a greased pig, and I think finally McDowell was able to grab it and keep possession, and it'll be third down, but way back at about the 15-yard line.
There was a weather-induced play, Gary.
That's one that the 2 or more bobbles and slips would have made all the highlight reels.
That'll make it third down and goal for the Trojans. Ball at the 17-yard line.
Scrambles on. Good hustle by that McDowell player.
Somebody got it. Is that Marsh? Maybe got it back.
That would have been one of those plays if Prep picked it up and took it in for a touchdown.
Let's take a break. Tied out on the field. McDowell leading 14-0 and in control when we come back.
Can you identify who it was that frightened you, ma'am?
I'll try.
This Halloween, terrifying creatures are on the loose at Taco Bell. Wanted Goosebumps at Taco Bell. Slappy's Candy Keeper, Cuddles the Horrible Hamster, Rappin' Mummy, and Skullmobile. Get 'em now. Goosebumps collectibles only at Taco Bell.
When you've lived with something for a long time, you tend to get rather attached to it. Healthcare plans are no different. But if your company is no longer offering the plan you've grown to love, don't despair, especially if they're now offering Select Blue. It gives you the freedom of traditional plans, plus all the benefits of an HMO. So if you have to give up your favorite plan, choose Select Blue from Blue Cross and Blue Shield. You'll see. It's just like the plan you've always loved, only better.
Some of the McDowell fans here hoping that they can convert this third and goal from the 16 and add to their lead. Here's Caldwell off the play action fake, rolling to his left. Lots of time, throws for the end zone. It's off the hands of Jamie Respecki and incomplete as he tried to pull off his second touchdown pass of the game.
Loomis almost came up with the interception.
Let's go to our play of the game, Jim. The Taco Bell play of the game. Man, those tacos were good, and so was this run by Brian Caldwell.
Great effort by Brian Caldwell. Breaks 3 tackles, keeps his balance, powers into the end zone. Definitely player of the game, play of the game. It's all right there for you.
Brian Caldwell not only with the play of the game, but throwing a touchdown and then making that great touchdown run, making him our player of the game from Taco Bell as well. Jeff Heil attempting the field goal, 23-yard, 33-yard attempt. It is up in the rain and counted. It is good. And with 2 minutes and 42 seconds remaining here in the football game, the Trojans have increased their lead to 17-0.
Good job by Heil, and that's important in these kind of weather conditions to know your kicker can kick a field goal. Going into the playoffs, you've got to have a solid all-around game. McDowell's always had good special teams with Ron Rudler, and getting Heil untracked and getting the accuracy, there's never any question about his leg strength this year. That's a nice boost for the McDowell program going into the playoffs. So Heil with the field goal. 17-0 Trojans lead it with 2:42. Gary, I would have liked to have seen a replay on that incompleted pass before. I really thought Loomis came close to intercepting it, and I thought the official saw the ball deflected and blew his whistle right away. Now, I'm not saying it was an interception, and it doesn't matter, but just I see things that I like to fill out in my own mind.
Number 36 for the Cathedral Prep Ramblers, Brzezinski, is our player of the game.
Jeff Brzezinski, a solid performance for the Ramblers.
On defense, as the ball bounces and it's picked up by Chris Loomis, and Loomis runs it out to the 28-yard line, where Cathedral Prep, now down 17-0 with 2:35 remaining here in the football game, will take over 1st and 10. And Hiles kicking. Getting back to that subject, Jim, the 3-0 game obviously against Youngstown Ursuline was his. The 10-7 game, they beat Central. His field goal was the first points of that game, but that 3 points ended up being big in the final outcome. So having a kicker going into the playoffs obviously is very good. Prep with 2:35 remaining now, trailing 17-0, and the rain falling as hard as it has all night. And Gemler simply strips and falls. The conditions are simply not conducive to doing anything but exactly what Jim Gemler did, and that is slip and fall. So this one, you might as well run out the clock and put that one in the books. And the best that Cathedral Prep can really hope for now is to come back against Central, have a good effort against Central, and hope that the District 10 playoffs may take 2 teams out of the Quad A Metro and maybe have that as a semifinal game.
I want the names of everybody that's still in the stands and why. I want to know their reasons for being here, Gary. This is brutal weather.
Each and every one of them. Well, we thank all of you who have watched our game tonight as they pitch it back to Durema. Looked like he wanted to throw initially, and then not finding anyone open, runs into the far side of the field at the 28-yard line. They keep the clock running with 1:45 and counting left to play. Here's a replay of that incomplete pass you were talking about, Jim, right before the Heil field goal that made it 17-0.
There's Caldwell rolling to his left. He had a man open and just overthrew him a little. And
yeah, it looks like Loomis might have come up with that.
He was close to it. That's all I said is I saw the official waving no good before the ball really hit the ground. Not that it's pertinent. I was just wondering if Loomis was that close to it.
And a guy named Noah is building an ark behind the press box here.
Wow.
If that's any indication of how the rain's coming down. 3rd down and 11. 1:05 seconds remaining. Prep will simply give it a go. Under pressure, Gemler simply tries to throw it. She threw it underhand. I don't know if they called that a fumble or an incomplete pass. They called it an incomplete pass, says referee Dave Wiley.
A generous call
at this
stage of the game.
With 54 seconds remaining in our football game tonight, it is a 4th and 11 for the Ramblers of Cathedral Prep. So you feel bad in a way for Cathedral Prep that they couldn't have had ideal conditions to play a team like McDowell and try to knock them off that 7-0 mark. But on the other hand, McDowell was 7-0, came in here and did a pretty good job in the bad conditions.
Oh, you got to give McDowell credit for playing a tremendous football game under these circumstances, and Prep for hanging tough. But once again, you're just asking too much out of your defense. You get just too tired.
Here's a little reverse to Loomis on 4th down and 11. Loomis is still on his feet. Puts together a nice run, but it's going to be about 5 yards short of the 1st down. And they will take over on downs, will the Trojans, at the 35-yard line with only 44 seconds left on the clock. And so it looks like that the McDowell Trojans, as you see Ronaldo Batista beginning the celebration of being able to beat their arch rivals, and for the 2nd consecutive year doing so here at Gus Anderson Field and claiming the Metro League championship in the process.
So with 44 seconds left, Gary, I think that the presence of Brian Caldwell right from the beginning had a settling effect on McDowell in this weather. I think he took total control of the game, throwing the ball and running the ball and defensively. Talk about a triple threat.
Right. And he is our player of the game. Caldwell will simply take a knee. It actually is bad in the stats column because he'll lose 2 yards on the play, but that doesn't matter to Brian Caldwell. What matters most of all is the final 30 seconds of this game is ticking off. And we will have a McDowell win, which will make them the Metro League Quad 8 champions and send them on to the District 10 championship as the #1 seeded team in the District 10 Quad A bracket. Now, what the rest of that bracket will look like, only time will tell, and only the District 10 committee will tell. And that is the old TBA to be announced. Crowd counting down the final seconds as Caldwell takes his knee. And you see, they were the visiting team tonight, the McDowell Trojans. But on their home field, the visiting McDowell Trojans beat their arch rivals, the Ramblers of Cathedral Prep, by a final score of 17-0. And it was Brian Caldwell who made the difference in this game, his experience, and the fact that he really came here wanting in his senior season and playing his arch rival on the gridiron for the last time to do well, and that's exactly what he did.
A well-played game, Gary. I thought for the circumstances, definitely the difference being the strong showing by the Brian Caldwell, the senior quarterback. I thought he settled them down, he kept them going. They struck early, took control with the passes early on. They showed that they weren't going to be conservative. I think they learned last year in the rain, put it out of your mind. Run your offense and let's go with it, and then count on our stifling defense as they posted their 5th shutout.
Meanwhile, the growing process continues for Cathedral Prep. We'll be back 17-0 in favor of the Trojans of McDowell. The final score. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Stay with us.
Autoland is truly an automobile supermarket with over 500 in inventory. 200 of them are under roof. And look at this. Take your choice. 10,975. These are 95 models. Here's a 95 Chevy Corsica, $229 a month, 0 down. Here is a 95 Cavalier, $229 a month, 0 down. And here's a Buick Skylark, 0 down, $229 a month. And remember, at Autoland, there's a 5-day return policy and a 30-day bumper-to-bumper warranty. You can't go wrong. I-79, Route 20 West in Erie.
Service and convenience. Nobody hammers at home like Value Home Centers during Super Value Days. For energy savings, Owens Corning recommends 12 inches of attic insulation for our area. Pink Plus with Miraflex makes installation irritation-free. 16-inch wide Miraflex is now only $12.99 a roll. Or choose 6-inch unfaced attic insulation. The 50-inch wide roll is now only $11.99. And get free NFL merchandise from Owens Corning with qualifying purchases. Always convenient. Value Home Centers, where we hammer the lowest advertised prices guaranteed.
Coverage of the Game of the Week has been brought to you by Taco Bell. Cross the border.
I'm Jim LaCorchik at Gus Anderson Field. McDowell wins 17-0 over Cathedral Prep. The Trojans with a fine effort, I thought, on a very, very rainy evening. You can see the field right now. It speaks for itself. Second consecutive year, just torrential rains, but the Trojans came out early in the game, took the opening kickoff, went up 7-0, and really dominated action right from there. The Ramblers never threatening. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back after these messages.
Why should you consider Ford Windstar over Dodge Caravan? You'll find a few things are missing from their minivan, like a 5-star crash protection rating. No other minivan has that. Windstar has over 40 standard safety features, including standard dual airbags and 4-wheel anti-lock brakes, plus a more powerful V6 engine. And now get $1,500 cash back or 3.9% financing. That's big cash back on Windstar. So which minivan has the advantage? Ford Windstar at your Erie Warren Crawford Ford dealer.
The weather may feel like fall, but inside Value City Furniture, it's $98 for a computer desk with roll-away printer stand. Only $98 for this exquisite wrought iron bed. $98 for this modern black finish entertainment center. And just $98 for a two-way recliner. There's only one place to get savings this hot. Value City Furniture's 3-day sale. Oh, and just for stopping in, pick up a halogen floor lamp for only $9.88. See you here.
Welcome back downfield here. It is raining. I get a little wet now because this guy's been wet all night, but he's playing very well. You threw for a touchdown. You ran for a touchdown. It seemed like you came to play tonight, Brian. You really wanted this one very bad.
Yeah, we came to play. They talked a lot about we didn't respect them.
but we feel that they didn't respect us. Some people say that we thought we had a program because we had one good season. We just wanted to prove that we could put it together back-to-back seasons.
I guess last year in the rain, maybe this team learned to ignore that. I mean, you guys came out, it was pouring down raining, and boom, boom, you hit a couple of nice passes to Jamie Respecki, and all of a sudden you're up 7-0.
Yeah, well, we've been playing in the rain a lot. We had a big one against Ursuline where we played in the rain, and we had a couple ones with a very wet field, so, you know, we're getting accustomed to playing in the rain, kind of.
Yeah, I guess that's not a bad thing. You're the Metro League champs. You can wrap up the Allegheny Conference next week, and then you've got the District 10 playoffs. So it seems like you guys are on a pretty good roll going in here.
Yeah, we're on a roll, but we just want to take it one game at a time. You know, it's hard. It's an easy thing. It's an easy thing to have a letdown next week. But, you know, we're just going to go about it the same way and hopefully just take it one game at a time and see what happens from there.
Brian, congratulations on a wonderful season and a wonderful game tonight. Ron Rudler, come on in here. Obviously, you know, what prompted you to come out with your wide-open offense? Because it seemed to really catch them flat-footed, and you stuck one on the board quick.
Well, when you got a quarterback like Brian and some guys that can protect and guys that can go get it, we were foolish in a couple of our earlier games not to do that. We got a little bit too conservative, and we learned our lesson in the last few weeks that we wouldn't do that anymore. And I went up and saw Ignatius and Miller Lake Catholic. Miller Lake Catholic threw for 170 yards on a night like tonight, and I said, we can do it. And we told the guys that.
Yeah, and obviously a great effort by your defense again tonight. I mean, as the field conditions deteriorated, it really made things tough on them, but you never let them out of a hole.
Yeah, sticking the first one on the board right away was a real giant thing, and then the first drive of the second half, too. And it really put them in a hole, but I give all the credit to all the coaches and all the players. Beautiful game plan and just a great execution in a big ball game for us.
All right, Ron, congratulations on being Metro champs again.
Thank you very much. Thanks for doing the games.
Oh, no problem. Really we enjoy it. Thank you, Ron. Let's bring Ryan Urban over here because a year ago in this same rain, and it is raining, believe me, this guy was on the other side of the football, on the football field. How do you feel now being on this side of the football field?
It's great playing for the Trojans. I mean, I had a lot of good years with Prep, but it's great to play against them and come up with a 17-0 win. Can't say nothing, but our defense played great, and our offense played great, and just great to have a W.
And I guess going into the playoffs, you know, you have the Altoona game next week. You don't want to let down, obviously. You want to finish with an undefeated season, and that in and of itself is enough to make that motivating factor next week. Huh?
Yeah, not too many times you can say you played a perfect season, and next week if we come up with a win, we'll be 8-0, and we'll be 9-0, and we'll have undefeated season. Just great feeling to have something like that.
Any key against them defensively that you guys really shut down? I mean, what was the one thing you were worried about this Cathedral Prep team that you shut down tonight?
They had three great backs, you know. Any one of them could break a long run here and there, but Coach Pinchon, he coached us great on all week through. Told us what kind of plays they run, how to stop it, and came up in a big way for us.
All right, Ryan, congratulations on a great season, and good luck in the playoffs. That's it here from Gus Anderson Field. McDowell has put together a 17-0 win over the Cathedral Prep Ramblers, and with that, they're the 1996 Metro League champions. They'll finish up here against Altoona. We've got another game of the week to do. It'll be next Saturday night right here at Gus Anderson. The same Cathedral Prep Ramblers against the Falcons of Central, and that winner could go a long way in determining the second team possibly from the Metro League in Quad A to advance to the playoffs. So this thing isn't even over yet, even as the trophy is being hoisted by the McDowell Trojans. Congratulations to them. They're the Metro League champs after posting a 17-0 win tonight. For Jim Lekorchik and the entire crew, stay dry, and we'll see you next week on our Game of the Week. I'm Gary Drapcho. Good night, everyone.